Hey y'all. I forgot that to do it like where y'all didn't have to go and move out to the other one and like like you taught me how to do it, I had it like that yesterday. And then I have forgot to do it like that today because I had changed a lot to today. Ding dong. Go. I hope everybody from the other channel come on over here. Hey, Debbie. You new Kathy B, Katie, up in the building. Okay, up in the building. Okay, I'm so thirsty, y'all. This water is so ice. See, I gotta have my water like ice. Anyway, forget about the water. Okay, so y'all know anybody that want to come up here could come up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can come up here. I love when somebody's up here. Um, Karen's coming back. Oh, you remember that? Oh my God. That's crazy. I can't remember she remembers me doing that. Wow. Um, get myself a drink. I do. It's frozen, but it's unfreezing. It's unfreezing, y'all. I'll be all right. Hmm. Trafficking. $1 million business. No matter what age you are, what sex you are, your identity, religion. I don't even think it matters at anything. It's about the moolah. Adam Walsh. Hold on, y'all. Because I don't want to. He was so cute. Such a cute little boy, man. I want to read what they said. So, Adam Walsh had a son. No, wait. No. John Walsh had a son named Adam Walsh. Duh. So, Adam Walsh was born November 14th, 1974. Sadly, he was killed July 27th, 1981. Hey, the truth in the building. Okay. By a serial killer. He was only 6 years old. Now it says here a serial killer who died more than a decade ago is the person who decapitated the 6 years old son of America's most wanted, John Walsh. I don't know if that word decapitate is something on YouTube doesn't like. Do you know if that's a word that YouTube don't like? The truth, do you know if that's a word that YouTube don't like?
It's been all
Because
over.
I don't know, because I put that in my title one time for a video, and they would not let me show my video at all.
Really?
Because that's the only thing that I could remember that was the bad about my video. Because I didn't put the person's head in the video. The man chopped off his father's head. I didn't put that in the video. I only said decapitate. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, is that why they did that to me?
I don't know
YouTube?
because if you go look about that case, it's all over there about it.
I
Yes, it.
know. You remember when I put that out,
Mhm.
right? And I didn't put nothing bad out.
It's crazy.
I don't know, but okay, so we on part 2 now with this, right? We did the whole thing where John Wash son was missing from the mall. He was with his mother playing a little video game. She left him over there, came back. he was gone. Right. We also know that at the crime scene, there was a witness that had seen no other than
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer, who was not charged for this
No,
young boy's
mm-mm.
murder at all.
If
Oh,
you
he was
remember,
charged, huh?
he was seen at the mall and at the site where the head was.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Cops dropped the ball as usual.
Of course, big time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up some stuff for y'all that I saw. Hopefully it's still there because I was like, oh, I want that one. Oh, I want that one. Oh, I want that one.
I know.
Uh,
Hard to pick which videos you
I,
want to follow. There's so many,
I know.
especially on
Uh,
old cases.
yes, I was like, oh my goodness. So she
Yes.
gonna talk to y'all a little bit while I pull up some stuff. Go ahead, boo boo.
Okay. I don't know if y'all remember on that case, but um, she went to the mall to get a lamp, and they didn't have the lamp, so she had to wait around. They went back, checking in the back to try to find it, and then finally took her name and number. And if you look at the map, I don't know if y'all remember seeing the map, but he was right across from her. It wasn't that far, and the kids got to arguing or something, and the clerk made them leave, and somehow he ended up. That's how he got kidnapped. So we're going to start with part two now. Whenever she are you have you got it?
Not yet, baby.
Okay.
I'm
And
coming.
so and if you recall, Jeffrey Dahmer was seen at the mall, and he was also seen at the crime scene where the head was found. But they ended up charging Otis Toole with the crime. I don't think he got any time out of it though, because he had already been serving for so many other children. I can't remember how many children. Let me look that up, because this is your case, and I keep forgetting.
It's not Mike. It's we doing this to all together, girl. It's not
No,
just
but I
me.
mean, this is the one that you done the Reese is what I meant. He
Girl, I
was
don't
he
care.
was convicted of 6 counts of murder. Um, Henry Lucas, which was his partner, they actually, I read up on it, they did have an affair. So you asked me that the other day. I actually went and searched that after we got off because I wasn't sure of that, but they were
Oh.
partners at one time. And
Oh.
so he was charged with 6 murders. Um, um, they said his occupation was a prostitute and a vagrant, and he was charged with first degree murder counts and arson. He got 2 death sentences plus 4 life sentences, commuted to 6 life sentences without the possibility of parole, and 20 years for arson conviction. So he was never charged with um, Adam's crime, probably because he kept recanting it. I think they knew who did it. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. What did she put? It doesn't match. No, but you got to remember, this was back when Dahmer would have been what? Didn't we say 21 when his crimes first started? And so I'm not saying that he did it, but why would he have been at the mall, and why was he at the crime scene? Why did the fisherman that found Adam's head, actually ID'd this man's, that the cops threw up pictures, and all three pointed him out separately. So I don't know, but John Walsh thinks that it was Tool. So who
Right.
knows? Who knows? I mean, if as far as he's concerned, the case has been solved. So
So let me see. The Island watched a deep dive into the case.
wait
Brain
a minute.
scratch.
Huh?
No. Witness. Oh, wait a minute. I wanted to see what he had to say. There was a reason why I pulled him up. Oh, yes. This
Where
right here.
is he?
Yeah, let me turn this down for me. Hold on.
Check something while
All
you're
right.
doing.
Okay. So I found out some stuff, right? And that's me when I hear something juicy, I stop the video
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put this up with the squad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I don't listen to the whole thing because it's like, I call it as like a reaction video, you know what I mean? So I
yeah,
stop it and stuff. But what piece that I heard was the monster that did this has some things going on his family that would sound a little sick to me. So this guy is just gonna explain what he heard and he gonna put it out there. Okay? He gonna put it out there. Then I found another audio of the girl that was at the mall that day. Because remember, they said that they saw Jeffrey Dahmer at the mall.
yeah.
So let's first play this video.
So you have somebody who say in this video they're going to
Not
say
this
they saw
video, the
Jeffrey.
next
Oh,
one. The next
okay,
one. I
okay.
I I know I'm all over the place, y'all.
No, it's okay. I was just trying to just
Yeah,
because
I'm
I
sorry.
haven't seen any live video of that, so I was curious.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. But this
Okay,
video is something different. Let me show you.
I'm gonna go ahead and.
There's actually two videos of the girl.
Is it okay?
But this one is a different one.
Okay.
So let's see what he has to say. I like him. I like watching.
Third story that she's researched for me. She does a really good job. She actually did such a good job on this case that I don't think I can cover everything she sent me. So I'm going to start a new section on brainscratchers.com. If you go there today, you'll see a selection on the left called Deep Dive Files. And in that deep dive section, you will find essentially all of her raw information that she sent to me to make this episode, which includes a ton more links than we're going to be able to review, a lot more theory and other things you can dive into. So hopefully you'll head over to brainscratchers.com and check that out. Today we are covering the murder of Adam Walsh. You are probably familiar with Adam's father, that is John Walsh of America's Most Wanted. Essentially, what happened to his son helped push him into a different career path, and he has done a bunch of amazing work on that show and several other shows since. And also in terms of creating new laws, creating new systems for trying to keep children safe. And quite honestly, I don't know if there would be a Brain Scratch or a Searchlight without America's Most Wanted. I used to watch it a lot
Mhm.
back when it was on Fox, and I just always appreciated that he was trying to help other people, and that's definitely something that I think comes through in Brain Scratch. So if John Walsh happens to see this someday, thank you so much for inspiring the rest of us in ways that maybe you're not aware of. So that being said, let's jump into the murder of Adam Walsh. Adam John Walsh was an American boy who was abducted from a Sears department store at the Hollywood Mall in Hollywood, Florida on July 27th, 1981, and later found murdered and decapitated near Abacoa, Florida. I don't know if that's Abacoa or
See, he
Abacoa.
says the word nothing happens
His
to
death
him.
earned national publicity.
Child,
His
please.
story was made into the 1983 television film Adam, seen by 38 million people in its original airing. That is insane. That is a huge, huge number. 38 million. I can't believe it. His father, John Walsh, became an advocate for victims of violent crimes and the host of the television program America's Most Wanted. One additional piece of information about the Adam movie that I wanted to cover here. The 3 broadcasts of Adam were followed by pictures and descriptions of missing children as of each of the respective broadcasts. A hotline was also active to take calls regarding the children. This was ultimately credited with finding 13 of 55 children from the 1983 broadcast, including future rapper Busy Bone. Busy Bone later did a song basically dedicated to Adam Walsh.
Really?
Yeah.
And 19 of 51 children shown in the 1984 broadcast. As of 2 days after the 1985 showing, 3,522 calls had been made to the hotline, and 5 of 54 featured missing children had already been found. So as you can see, just the creation of this movie and the extremely wise decision to do something good with art by adding these missing people at the end of the film really affected the world in a pretty positive way. That's a lot of cases that got solved by that, which is very cool. So we're going to jump back to the timeline that Blue Meanie sent me. November 14th, 1974, John and Reve Walsh welcomed their first boy, a boy they named Adam after his grandfather, John Walsh Sr.'s nickname. July 27th, 1981, Reve and her son Adam, now 6, make a trip to Sears in Hollywood, Florida. Reve goes to look for a lamp that was on sale. Adam stayed behind at a display for the new Atari game system where older children are playing the games. When Reve returned minutes later, Adam was gone. Reve searched to no avail. They page for Adam, but he never comes. John Walsh is called to the scene along with police. Over the next few weeks, John and Reve made several televised and published appeals for Adam's safe return, offering $5,000. August 10th, 1991, 16 days after he went missing, a severed head is identified as Adam Walsh. It was 120 miles from where he was taken. His torso is never found. So for a bit more detail, we're going to jump back over to the article. Here we see basically the same information. It was an Atari 2600 system that was on display, and a store manager informed her that a scuffle had broken out over whose turn it was at the kiosk, and a security guard demanded that they leave the store. And I've seen some different accounts about what happened here, but I've seen a few different places where they talk about this. I've even seen one mention of a videotape of the boys leaving the store that was made available. And apparently the security guard was very young. He was 17 years old.
Yeah.
The security guard asked the older ones if their parents were there, and they said that they were not. It was later conjectured by Adam's parents that he was too shy to speak to the security guard, who presumed that he was in the company of the other boys and put him out the same door. Based upon Reve's claim that he was in the store with her, it was assumed that he was then left alone near an exit that was unfamiliar to him. Adam's severed head was found by 2 fishermen on a Vero Beach canal. The rest of his body has never been recovered. The coroner ruled that the cause of death was asphyxiation and that the decapitation had occurred later, perhaps to render his remains unidentifiable or the cause of his death indeterminable. Pretty interesting.
You know what's crazy? Go ahead.
My only thing with that is if his head was severed, how did they know he was strangled?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're right.
They said he died of asphyxiation. I'm just, that hit me when I saw that, because I thought they didn't have the rest of the body. So how did they know? Was the end of it closed in or something? Maybe. I don't know. That's
That's a
crazy.
good point. She's a dominant. What's her name?
Who?
I'm gonna say. Damon Joseph. She said her thoughts too. That's what she was thinking.
About the
Yup.
asphyxiation.
The same thing. Yup. That's exactly. Yeah. Wow. I didn't even think of that, sis. Yeah.
It just, as soon
Wow.
as he said it, it was like, that's so weird.
Unless they just start making up their own shit, putting it on paper.
Yeah. Well, you remember they said that the knife actually was ceramic and it had paint chips or something.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know.
I
I don't know. It's weird.
Interesting twist here. Adam's father, John Walsh, was considered by authorities as a prime suspect as the police investigation started to become exhausted. After about a week, he was absolved of any foul play following a highly emotional press statement that was televised nationally. I believe they also gave him a polygraph test. So that cleared up John. And, I don't think it's necessarily a misstep on police's part to look in that direction. I think in a lot of these cases, it might be a family member. So it kind of makes sense, but it's a part of the story you don't hear too often. So I wanted to share that with you. So the major culprit here is Otis Toole. He was an American drifter who was convicted of 6 counts of murder. This is a pretty sad story, just even right from the start. Otis Toole seems to have some mental disorder.
Yes.
I believe his IQ is only 75. He went through an extremely rough childhood, and it seems like that abuse is kind of just what built up into this adult that got together with another man who was a murderer, and they kind of went on a spree together. That being said, the other man was not involved in Adam's murder, and in terms of Otis, um, that is the official conclusion by the police. It was made literally decades later. Just a little more into the background here. Otis Elwood Toole was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. Toole's mother was abusive. Toole claimed she would dress him in girls' clothing and call him Susan. His father was an alcoholic who abandoned him. Otis claimed that as a young child, he was a victim of sexual assault and incest at the hands of many close relatives and acquaintances, including his older sister and next-door neighbor. He claimed that his maternal grandmother was a Satanist who exposed him to various satanic practices and rituals in his youth, including self-mutilation and grave robbing, and dubbed him Devil's Child. Toole claimed his abuse began when he came out as gay to his family. Another tidbit on Toole. In early 1975, Toole returned to Jacksonville after drifting and hitchhiking through the American South. On January 14th, 1976, he married a woman 25 years his senior. She left him after 3 days after discovering his homosexuality. Toole said during an interview his marriage was a tactic meant to conceal his true sexuality. And you just have to wonder if he was raised in a different time, if this would have been as much of an issue, or if he would have been kind of as abused as a child. It seems very unfortunate to me that this guy has a backstory that there's no way it can justify murdering people, but it comes as close to justifying it as I've ever seen. It really seems like this guy was kicked around in a pretty hard way as a child, and that to any child is unfortunate. Almost seems like he was never given a chance. Here's a photo of Lucas.
Wow. What y'all got to say about that? He was what you think, Karen?
I don't really know. I mean, I just know. I mean, it's true. A lot of them are abused themselves. If you go back and look at most of the serial killers, they are abused, and most of them are sexually assaulted as children and tormented. And I don't know. That doesn't give it an excuse, but it does make it a little more understandable. But where do you draw a line? You know, a lot of children are abused and don't turn out to be serial killers. So.
Right, exactly. I was gonna say he's still a monster, but
yes,
that's like what forensic knows, that someone passed before they drown, or if they passed from being drowned.
They usually know that, if they find water in their lungs. But with this case, they didn't have anything but the head to go by. So there's a little boy in Idaho on the Brian Kohlberger case that we done some history on the background of him. And this little boy, they found him in Paradise Creek. And I think his last name was Witterick. But they found him in the creek and said he drowned, but there was no water in his lungs when the autopsy came back. So, and there was some hazing going on in the college. That's something else I'd like to cover, the hazing that's going on in these colleges. And there was one, it was a black guy who they said his name was Gregory, I remember, but he was a black guy in a pretty much all white college. They said he hung himself, but the ceiling height was like 5'10", and he was 6 foot something.
What was his name?
Gregory. Let me look. I'll tell you.
Gregory?
Yes, and listen to this. And they wouldn't even let his mother come to the sorority. I mean the sorority, that the actual frat brothers is the one that cut him down and everything. I find that I think all of them should have been charged. I think his name is Gregory Wilson, but let me see.
Yes, yes, Katie, we did. We just covered that not too long ago.
Really? I actually covered that about a
Yes.
year ago, because that was so injustice. Every one of those boys should be in jail until somebody talks, because there's no way
Yep.
that the ceiling height was 5'10" and he was 6'2" and he hung himself. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
against any
We could
injustice.
should do that together.
But there was listen to this, there was also some of those guys were linked to white supremacy.
Oh,
Yes. It was it's in a lot of the colleges. And if we don't stop this, you know, that's what happens when they start pitting black and white against each other. It's shit like this that causes it. I don't care who it is,
mhm.
what color you are. If you do a crime like this, you need to be put in jail.
Exactly. I
And those
agree.
those
Black,
frat
white,
boys,
Chinese, Mexican, I don't care who you are.
if the
You
boy
do
was
it.
dead, why did they cut him down? Why didn't they let the cops come and take care of this? Because then they put themselves in the middle of that investigation. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And then the
Exactly.
mother wasn't allowed in there, but these boys was all over the crime scene.
Exactly. I
It's too
remember that
shady.
now.
It's too shady.
Mm, yeah. Mm. It's a damn shame.
I think I can't remember it was Gregory. I've covered so many cases since then.
I know. I'll look on my
He was a
live thing. His
Sigma Chi.
name.
I know that. Hang on. A Sigma Chi. Let me look it up. I'll find his last name.
All right. I'll have to
Gregory
look on my.
Johnson
And
Jr.
Tool, Lucas.
Huh?
Gregory Johnson Jr.
Yeah.
That, let me see if you can see it. No,
Yeah. We
that's him.
sure.
Is that the case you covered?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a Sigma Chi. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the Sigma Chi, so we need to cover that together.
I think I reached out to his mother, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I have to go look, but
Yeah.
I'll check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No,
that
you
was one
good,
case
girl. Stop
that was
saying
one
I'm
case that
sorry.
bothered me because it was a mostly all white sorority. I mean, a frat
That's
house.
right. He was the only matter of fact,
Only
he
one.
was the only black.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But not in that
Mm-hmm.
college. He was the only one in the Sigma Chi, but there was other fraternities
Mm-hmm.
that had black, but he was the only black one in
Only
the
black.
Sigma Chi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it because it reminded me of Jelani Day.
I haven't covered that story yet.
That's one of my first ones.
You see,
And
you've been doing it
I,
longer than
I want
me.
to talk to you about that off of here though, because I'm covering Jelani Day this week.
Okay, I got 3 that I've got to cover this week that I was asked to cover, so we'll get together on them.
Yeah. Yeah, very sad, Damani.
Yes, it is. It's sad that our children don't have an opportunity to survive anymore. They don't live in a
Facts.
This is
safe
the other
world.
guy that was known
No.
to be conducting some murders in this area, and
Damn
they
shame.
eventually got together. And we get 2 confessions. On October 21st, 1983, while imprisoned for 2 unrelated murders, Toole confessed to the 1981 murder of 6-year-old Adam Walsh. And something very interesting to point out, check out that date, October 21st, 1983. If we go back to the article about the film Adam, it was initially aired on October 10th, 1983. So I am not sure. I don't know about in the prison system at that time. Were they allowed to watch television? Is it possible that he saw this film and then kind of tacked himself into the story? Is it possible that other detectives saw this film and maybe went and questioned him, kind of leading him down to attach him to that story? And we're going to review some evidence a little bit later that I think might put your mind in a split about that one, because I'm really not sure. So there is a website called justiceforadam.com. This is a great place for you to do a deep dive yourself. Willis Morgan, who claims that he is actually a witness at Sears that day, and we'll have a little video clip with him in a moment. He's been working to get as many of the case files as he can and to post them here. So there is just literally a wealth of information that you can find on this site, and we're going to review a few of these case files here. This is an examination of Otis Toole's statements. Basically, one of the confessions that he's given. This is an investigator going over that information and comparing it to known facts in the case. I'm going to have to turn the screen sideways here so we can read this together. But there's some interesting things that I notice about this. First of all, let's see. Talked a little boy out of a store in Hollywood, cut the boy up, and dismembered the head. And the fact that they're attributing that to is kidnapping occurred from Sears store at the Hollywood Mall, head found in canal, remainder of body not found. Well, the interesting about that statement is what we reviewed before about the little boy actually not being in the store. And this statement seems to allude to the fact that Otis was actually in the store and talked to the little boy, talked him into leaving the store. According to what we heard from the management of the store, the little boy was led to the door and was literally outside of the store. So minor discrepancy there. Discussed City of Hollywood locations, naming Young Circle, a small airport near a mental institution and an Amtrak station. Locations mentioned exist in Hollywood. I don't know how that is a real strong fact pertaining to the case. We know that this guy was living in Hollywood. He's probably familiar with the area. If he did see the television show and heard that it was the Sears in Hollywood, Florida, he might have been familiar with that location already and knew landmarks around it. So I'm not really sold by that one. Cut the child's head off, cut the body up, and burned it, threw the head in something like a creek. Victim was decapitated, remainder of body never found, and head was found in waterway. Pretty close match there. Of course, we don't know where he burned it. Talked of Opelika and Overtown. Actual locations. Once again, I'm just not sure that that's worth noting on this type of investigation. Picked up child in a shopping center. Victim was abducted from Hollywood Mall. Had to hit the child. Dr. Wright found victim's nose fractured, and I didn't know that until I actually reviewed this. That's another one of those pieces of information that doesn't come out too often. There's another document we're going to review in a little bit, which is a transcription of Otis's statement, and he does say that the boy began crying and that he struck him. So that actually might line up, and that is one of those pieces of info. If that was not publicly available, this could really make the police start looking at this confession and in some way validating it. It could also be that it's a pretty common occurrence for a kidnapper to maybe fantasize about those events happening. I mean, I don't think it would take too much if you were writing a story about this instance and someone was being kidnapped. The kid's going to start crying. The kidnapper is going to do something to try to stop the crying. So, being hit in the face, could it be coincidental? It's possible. Threw head in canal. Head was found in canal. Burned the body in a pit at his mother's house. 1983 search was conducted and no evidence was found. So at least they noted a discrepancy here. From everything I've seen, I have not seen any information about a possible remains found at any of these locations outside of the head being found. And as we know from shows like Making a Murderer, there should be some bone fragments left behind. I believe that he said that he burned the body in an old refrigerator. I think that would have kept some of the remaining dust at least in there, and they probably likely would have found some bone fragments in there. We've also done research on the temperatures it takes to burn a body. We know that you have to get that fire up to 1400, 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. Is it practical that someone does that in their backyard in a refrigerator? I'm not sure, but it's definitely something to consider.
Wow.
And
Huh?
He's basically saying he don't believe that Otis done it.
Exactly. And I was thinking, how did he get that child out that mall without that child making any
hmm
commotions,
Well, see,
any
he's saying he went in the mall and got him. Otis did, but that we all know from actual footage that he was outside of the mall because the security guard run him outside. Remember? And so he's and if he did have a broke nose, whoever, I mean, if he really did put up a fight, that's probably how his nose got broke. But that doesn't mean that Otis Toole did it.
I'm gonna turn the fan on. Yeah. But I'm like, how the hell did? Because if you a kid don't, some kids will go to strangers,
No, I
which is
know.
not good. But knowing who his dad was, I don't think he gonna go to a stranger. So I don't know. Does he probably would scream, yell?
Yeah,
How did he get his attention? Like, wow. No.
I don't know. To me, everybody's more leaning toward Jeffrey Dahmer being the killer. I mean, if
Yeah.
you go back and research all of these and listen to all these videos, nobody is convinced Otis Toole did it
Right.
because it doesn't make sense. I mean, you got to figure he didn't confess until many years later. What was it, 10 or 11 years? To me, he had plenty of time to get that information off the news because they were saying, a head had been found in this area. Probably didn't say where, but um, that it was in a drainage ditch at the time, but they did say that it was found in a certain county. And uh,
Right.
so, um, in my opinion, Otis was trying, because they did say that Otis Toole wanted to die. And I think he was confessing to a bunch of crimes so he could get the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that. That's just my opinion. But
Oh,
I lean more to
maybe.
Jeffrey Dahmer because he was seen in the area where the head was. Of all the places to go, how many days was it? 12 days later or 11 days later, they found the head in the drainage ditch. And it just so happened that Jeffrey Dahmer was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
What is
mean? And he was
uh-huh.
at the mall.
Yeah.
I
He
don't know.
probably he them psychopaths, they got a way of getting kids and people's attention.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
I don't know. Like I said, it's just my opinion from the research I done that Jeffrey Dahmer was the one that done it. But they believe that it's Otis Toole. But if you read all of this information, it doesn't prove. I mean, like he said, he did say he burnt the body in a refrigerator, an empty refrigerator that had been turned up on its side. And
Right.
where was all the bone fragments? Where was all the dust from when they went to the crime scene to do the searches, they found nothing.
Said that's too much evidence.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
So
Wow.
anybody would know the area because it was all over the news for years. And he didn't confess until right before before he died. And
Right.
hell, this happened to Adam a long time ago. So
She said maybe Otis was probably trying to get out.
get clout. No, I think Otis was trying to get the death penalty.
Oh, get clout. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I thought it said get out. What am
Yeah.
wrong? I'm
I
bugging.
really think
Don't mind me.
he mentally was suffering with, he probably didn't know. Um, I don't know. I just think that he really wanted to die because um, he didn't even remember the crimes, all of them that he done. He said
Oh, is that because you knew? Oh, I think she's saying that maybe because remember on part one,
he
you
recanted.
yeah, we were saying that they were trying to be like competitions against each other and shit.
Yes, that he did recant
Crazy.
it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I killed the most people than him. No, I killed him. Like, now let's see who gonna do the most jail time to you motherfuckers. Like, it's
Right?
crazy. Insane. And then he changed his mind. Mm.
If you remember Jeffrey Dahmer, how many kids was it? 12, 11, 12? Let me see how many he killed.
I want to know what's that guy, what's his name? I'm sorry, I gotta go back a little.
Who?
He's from your news page, your news people. I want to know what he think about this. The Truth TV. Is he still here? If you still hear the Truth TV, I want to know what's your opinion on this.
I don't think he is. I haven't seen him responding.
I know maybe sometimes they'd be in the back. They don't say
Yeah.
much.
Well,
That's
here's
just
where
there's
it
nine
says
people.
this is something to make y'all think too. It says Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, May 21st, 1960 to November 28th, 1994, also known as the Milwaukee
Kathy B.
Cannibal. Huh?
Kathy B. Paging D Truth. Paging D Truth.
Listen to this. It says was known as the Milwaukee Cannibal and the
That's a good
Milwaukee
one.
Monster. He was a serial killer, a sex offender who killed and dismembered 17 males between 78 and 91.
And that was Donner.
Yeah, dismembered. So, I don't know.
That was his thing. He dismembered. What about the other guy? What was his thing?
He was just a pedophile. Remember, he was a
Mm,
pedophile that had an arson charge on him.
gotcha.
He was a
Child,
pedophile, but he had an arson.
the
Look at
truth.
her. She's still calling him.
Cracking
I
up.
think he's going. Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm not messing with y'all. I'm not messing with you ladies.
Eh, the truth come to
I
the
think
front. The truth come to the front, please. Come to the front of the building. Come to the front of Brooklyn Squad.
Using a
But what do y'all
Cadillac
think?
known to operate a 71 black
They
over
were
white
supposed to in the
Cadillac
comments.
recovered and presence of blood discovered. What's interesting about that Cadillac is it has since disappeared,
Mm.
along with a knife and a carpet sample that was removed from the car. All of them now missing. And that really makes me scratch my head and wonder a
Mm.
bit about what's going on with the people that are responsible for maintaining that evidence. Lured boy to vehicle to show him a video computer game. This is literally the only document where I see that being mentioned. In most retellings of the story, he is telling the boy that he has toys and candy in his car. I've even
You
seen
know,
quotes directly from him where he says toys and candy. So I'm not sure where this video game idea came from. Although, if see this is where the story starts getting weird. If he found the boy outside, he wouldn't have known that the boy was there to watch the Atari game. So he wouldn't have had that in his mind to say, oh, well, I can obviously lure this kid away because he's interested in video games. So this is another one of those places where the story is really starting to divert for me. And I'm not sure which way to believe. Committed
Yep.
crime alone. Henry Lee Lucas, basically his lover, was in jail on 7/27/81. Through head in canal off the interstate. Head found in a canal at mile marker 174 at the turnpike. Once again, did they publicize that information when the head was actually found? Was it on the
Yes.
news? Is this something that he might have been exposed to in some way? I don't know. I could go on with this document, but we've got a lot of other things to cover. And just know there are multiple inconsistencies. He also has a pattern of admitting to this crime and then recanting his statements over and over and over. But it is worth noting that there was supposedly also a deathbed confession. Here on his Wikipedia, we have on September 15th, 1996, at the age of 49, Otis Toole died at Florida State Prison of cirrhosis, and his body went unclaimed. He was buried in the Florida State Prison Cemetery. But up here, Toole's niece told John Walsh that her uncle confessed on his deathbed in prison that he had murdered and decapitated Adam Walsh. So as usual, I will have links in the description box below. We're going to jump into a part of the transcript now. Essentially, years later, tapes of one of the confessions came out, and this is a transcript of one of those tapes. He's being interviewed by Paul Ruiz, so that's the PR that you'll see in here. So let's start here. I got all the parts of the body all effing jumbled up in my head, and it ain't making me think clear. Paul says, very possible too. See, you are thinking. Let me ask you this. Why is it that you hesitate to try and find the rest of that body? You are hesitating. Otis responds, I wouldn't be hesitating if I couldn't exactly remember where I throwed it all out at. But you can. I wouldn't be hesitating if I could really remember. Well, don't you think that maybe you may not want to remember? Is that possible? You did it, didn't you? Yeah. What do you think? Like I say, they can run together in your mind. Not the child, Otis, not the child. That child don't run together unless you killed several children. Do you think you've done that? Well, maybe since I killed some 14 and 15-year-olds, maybe that's run together. You're getting caught up on them, aren't you? Otis, think about what I just said. You have to really, really dig down real hard for you to try and convince me that you don't know where the rest of that child is. Can't do it. And what you're doing now is a very, very basic way of forgetting. See, you will go so far and then you block the rest of it out. But there is no way that you will ever be able to be satisfied with yourself, because that is the one area, I think, is why we all agree, that one area where it bothers you the most, and it shows some feelings. Another investigator in the room says, we're going to find him in the morning. You and I are going on a plane ride tomorrow. We're going to find him tomorrow. Otis responds, try to. Paul, he thinks where you might start is the same area where he threw the head. Otis responds, yeah, I did tell him that. Could be possible. I chopped his head off right there and throwed the rest of the parts right there. I don't know about you, but in this dialogue, and I've read through the whole thing, he keeps talking about it as if it might be possible I did this. It could be possible I did that. And there are problems even with the facts that he's trying to say might be possible. For example, he goes back and forth between saying he chopped up the body. No, I didn't chop up the body. I cut off the head. I threw that in the water, and I threw the body with it. The body would have probably been found. Admittedly, there is alligators. One of the reasons why they couldn't do underwater searching is because they were worried of the alligators in the area. To me, his language is constantly theorizing. It really reminds me of Brendan Dassey being interviewed on How to Make a Murderer, and just the way the investigator is leading these facts. And then it almost sounds like Otis is kind of theorizing with him. Well, yeah, I might have done that. His story switches several times just in this one interview. And apparently he gave, I think, over 24 confessions and many different variations on the facts. It doesn't seem to me that this is a guy that is telling the truth. And he might be seeking some type of glory for attaching himself to this crime. And
he had an
seems like
IQ of 75.
He might have achieved that goal.
Well, say that again, Mama.
He had an IQ of 75. So if you're questioning him, of course, he's not going to remember, because his IQ is so low. I don't know. Why would you badger someone if you know they don't have a high enough IQ?
24 freaking times?
Yeah.
You said they had him in there for a hot minute, I must say. Wow. And you know what? I noticed what he's talking about. Like, he'll just go back and forth. Like, maybe I did, or maybe I did.
Maybe I
I did this, and I forgot the word for that though.
He's backtracking, but
Yeah, not guessing, but it's a word for it. I forgot.
because he doesn't know if he done it or not. in my opinion.
Mm.
He killed so many people. I'm sure there's more than what all
Oh,
these
for
killers.
sure.
I'm sure there's more than what they got. They got away with more than what they were charged with.
Oh, hell
So,
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
bounce back to Blue Meanie's research real quick. And she has put a quick list of suspects together. They really looked in all directions. Like we mentioned, they looked at John, they looked at his wife, Reve. She was also given a polygraph. James Campbell, a family friend who lived with the Walshes for 4 years,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
given polygraphs.
Hmm.
Alejandro
Alejandro.
Marcos, also
Yep.
given polygraph. And then
No admission.
Jeffrey Dahmer. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, let's watch a little video clip. This is from CNN.
2 years later, a miserable drifter named Otis Toole twice confessed to killing Adam and twice
None of them
bragged
said no
he made it up.
admission.
That Adam Walsh case isn't ain't true.
What isn't true? Tell me that.
I didn't do that case.
Toole was never charged in Adam's murder, and for 26 years, the search has gone on for answers.
I just spent a lot of time going through and looking for mistakes, looking for clues.
Crime reporter Art Harris has spent several years digging into the Adam Walsh case, and now has come to a conclusion. Your conclusion: who killed Adam Walsh?
I believe Adam Walsh's killer is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the most infamous serial killers in American history.
Me too.
So that was Arthur J. Harris, who is an author and has done a bunch of research on this case. I've read a section of one of his books. And let's roll to another video clip. This is from Fox News, and we can see Arthur J. Harris here. Also, this is the guy that is responsible. This is Willis Morgan, the guy that made justice for Adam. This is Willis down here. And both of these guys supposedly saw Jeffrey Dahmer at the Sears that day. Let's hear what they had to say for themselves here.
Let me bring in those gentlemen. We have Willis Morgan again joining us and Bill Bowen. Willis, I'll start with you. Were you contacted, and what did you see that makes you believe that Adam was murdered by Jeffrey Dahmer?
Okay, first, was I contacted? What time are you talking about? After 92? When Detective Smith took over the case?
Yes.
No, he never called me. I called him one time, and I tried to tell him what happened at the mall, and he would dismiss me with, yeah, right, when I tried to tell him. And even the first time he said, yeah, right, I tried to continue telling him what happened, and I get to where Jeffrey Dahmer was standing over me with this demonic look in his eyes, and I'm starting to get nervous, and he goes, you're right, you're scared of him.
All right, well, I only have 30 seconds left here,
Okay.
Unfortunately. Let me bring in Bill. Bill, what did you see?
Well, I got out of my car at the Sears store, and I saw a man holding a little boy up in the air, screaming, I don't want to go, I'm not going. And this gentleman threw the little boy by one arm into the van, the blue van that I saw, and sped off.
And you believe that little boy was Adam Walsh?
It could have been. I only saw the backside of the little boy, but I did see a protruding chin and a forehead of a man with an army jacket on, I believe.
All right, well, it's a
So unfortunately,
So
that's all the time that Fox News would give them. Seemed like they only had maybe not even a minute each. And I think you can see why people are skeptical. I mean, you have one guy that's trying to tell a story that Jeffrey Dahmer at one point is looking over at him, looking down at him with some kind of demonic expression. When I go researching these things and when I listen to people retell stories about true events, when I hear things that are obviously fictionalized or sound like they're fictionalized as if the person is writing a novel, I know that that's not how memories are typically recanted, and it really sets off alarms for me too. So unfortunately, in his case, I think if he did see what he's seeing, he's overstating things, and it's making people stop and not consider what he has to say. The other gentleman admits he didn't even see this guy's face. He saw a chin and a jacket. And is that enough to make a positive identification for Jeffrey Dahmer when Jeffrey Dahmer was not even known in the media for another decade? And then all of a sudden you see this guy on the news and you're like, oh, that's the chin that I saw? I really don't know. Also worth noting, two of these guys on this image right here are authors making money specifically off their stories. So that's another thing that you have to wonder when people are being motivated by financial gains. Books, I read true crime books, and I see where authors sometimes will go to what I consider a bit of a self-delusional spot because they know if they get to a fantastic part of the story that the book is more likely to be popular, or if they come to a conclusion that no one else has reached before, that could put the book into a different area in terms of PR.
Wow.
And both of these gentlemen, I have to kind of, both of the authors here, I have to kind of question, particularly, let's take a look here. This is from The Unsolved Murder of Adam Walsh, Jeffrey Dahmer's Dirty Secret, written by Arthur J. Harris. And this chapter, you can come here, I'll have a link down below. This chapter is called A Facebook Friend Request. My other interesting pursuit in 2009 began in November with a Facebook message. Someone wanted to friend me. His name, he said, was Adam Walsh. This was his message. I thought you might be interested to know that Jeffrey Dahmer did kidnap me. I survived, but another flock of boys died while I was captured. I cannot afford the special DNA test for transplant survivors, but this is a known fact for all of my childhood friends. My foster family is still in denial. I'm going to jump down here. When some people thought that I was Adam in the 80s, they did a blood test with negative results. The truth is that I have had a jaw and scalp transplants, as well as tissue and nerves that skew the rudimentary DNA analysis.
Yeah.
Man, that is a fantastic story being spun. And the author says that after 3 years of research, he can't discount that this guy is Adam Walsh, despite the fact that his ears don't match. Apparently, he had surgery on his ears as well. He tells a story about Otis Toole actually showing up at Jeffrey Dahmer's place. There is no known association between them. It was pretty hard for me to read this account and to believe that this is really Adam Walsh. A full scalp transplant, I haven't even heard of. And I don't know why someone would necessarily do that. Also, DNA testing in the mid-'80s, I don't think they were doing DNA testing. If they were doing a blood test, that would be a simple analysis of probably trying to check your blood type against the known blood type of Adam Walsh. So I don't, even that part of the story, I don't really buy. And you have to believe that the decapitated head was not Adam. And apparently they have done DNA analysis between Adam's mother and bone fragments taken from the skull, and there is a match. Outside of that, there.
So I just want to go back for a second. So he did make noise, the little boy.
According to Otis Toole, he said that the boy put up a fight, but think back what he said. Otis Toole said he went in the store and got him. If that was going on in the store, it would have alerted people. We all know.
No, the witness said that he saw him
outside.
Right. Putting up a fight, basically. The kid was trying to put up a fight.
Yeah, but Otis Toole is saying he went in the place and got him. There's no way, because we know that the security guards pushed him out the door. Also, even if you discredit the two guys that said they saw him in the store, he was also saw at the crime scene where the head was.
Exactly.
You know, I'm just saying, I can't get it out of my head. There's too many inconsistencies in Otis's story. And with Dahmer had already started doing murders, and it could have been just because you can't always say, well, that ain't their MO. That ain't how they do things, because we don't know what was going through Jeffrey Dahmer's mind that day. You know what I mean?
Sure. He's a serial killer. He could be doing, his motive could change at any moment.
Exactly. In a moment's notice, maybe something that was going on triggered him, or we don't know. But I just know two people ID'd him at the mall, and 3 fishermen saw him at the crime scene.
Right.
You know, where the head was found. That's too inconsistency to me to think Otis Toole did it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Especially at the crime scene. Yeah, that was the big hit right there.
To me too.
Oof.
And not only that, everything, Otis Toole didn't confess to many years later. It was all over the internet and TV and everything years later. By the time, he could have got all this information. He had that multiple personality, and he had a low IQ. And there's just, you don't know. Maybe his mind was making him think he done it.
Oh, your new axe, is your head feeling any better?
Not really. I took some more medicine a while ago. That's why I got off the camera and took some more medicine. But
hope you feel
it's
better.
okay. It's in my neck. It's my Chiari, I think. So it'll be okay. I didn't go to bed till 4 this morning. I wanted to finish my testing, so it's my fault.
Oh, Mama.
But what do you guys think? Are you leaning more toward Otis Toole, or are you leaning more toward Jeffrey Dahmer? I mean, none of us are right or wrong. We don't know.
Right. It's just everybody's opinion.
But think about it. If they really believe Otis Toole killed this child, why didn't he get time? Why didn't he get persecuted for it?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was ever charged with Adam's crime.
And that's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
All these years.
Yeah.
No. Your news said, let me put it up here. Your news said, I'm with you, relentless. Yeah, me too, girl.
Yeah.
That makes two of us.
It just doesn't add up, And you know how cops are. They tell you, oh, you saw him that day. You know what that boy had. You know how they are. And he had a low IQ. Yeah, he had a low IQ. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of guys in prison that are innocent. That's why they have the Innocence Program, the Innocence Project. But
he said, I guess I can see maybe it's him.
I mean, like I said, it could be
Jeffrey Dahmer,
any one of them. But to be at the mall where he went missing, and to be at the place where his head was found, just is too inconsistent to me. It just stands out like a sore thumb.
Why? I wonder why his father just stuck with that. Why didn't he go, like, you know what I'm saying? Take the look at Jeffrey Dahmer some more.
I don't know if you remember America's Most Wanted, and you remember he talked really bad about Otis Toole and his gay relationship with Lucas, and yeah, go back and look at some of them. You can probably pull them up on YouTube. And I think he just rolled with it because he didn't want to go into another investigation all these years later, That's my opinion. But like I said, it might not have been either one of them. Exactly. They manipulate
weak-minded people to agree. Exactly.
Yep, they do. And he had a very low IQ. The man had, he said, if you read his transcript, I might have done this. You can't say I might have done it. You either know you did it,
right, or you didn't.
Remember the facts.
Right. You either did it or you didn't.
Where's the bones? If you burnt him in the refrigerator at your mom's place, where's the bones? There's going to be bone fragments. Nobody can get that heat up high enough. Look, they have to cremate you in an incinerator to turn it to ash. So that's just my opinion. But, I'm not an expert or anything. I just know the story doesn't add up to me.
No, you're right. I definitely agree with you, Mama. For sure.
Yeah,
you knew so right there. Oh, right. Yes or no. Right. Yeah, exactly. You either did it or you didn't do it. Shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
The police,
there
they
is
think,
the
police are really bad about that too.
Back at justiceforadam.com, I found this investigation.
Huh? Go ahead, baby. What you said?
I said the police will pin me.
Yeah.
I was
No, go
just
ahead.
saying, if the police, can you not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. If the police want you to be guilty, you're going to be guilty. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to turn
They'll
the
pin
tables.
anything on you.
Debbie, are you in
They'll
Once Upon a Crime Tommy's channel and seen all the investigations that we've done in that and got
you were
proof that other
cracking up.
things was going on? What's that laugh for?
No, because when you was like, "Can you hear me?" I'm like, "Yeah." Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Well, for some reason, it was, I don't know what it was.
It's
I
okay.
thought you didn't. All right, go ahead, honey. I'll keep interfering.
Report that is essentially analyzing why Adam Walsh was found in such good condition. Here we go. In reviewing this case, the question arose as to why there seemed to be a lack of damage to the head and face from either insect, marine life, or bird life. So essentially, they found this kid's face. Admittedly, we know his nose was broken, but it wasn't all that damaged. And just in case you're curious, the analysis here leads to Dr. Rodriguez states that there are many variables, but basically it comes down to what type of life is present in the environment. Are they in a foraging state? And is there a sufficient quantity of their normal diet for them to ignore what is basically a foreign food source? Dr. Rodriguez pointed out that criminal and medical investigators often erroneously conclude that because of an absence of animal or fish feeding on a cadaver, that the remains must have only recently been deposited.
So how could an alligator
we know
eat his
that
body?
his face was found in a state where he was likely still recognizable. They do mention that there's skin slippage, but they don't mention any other trauma to his face. So
an alligator didn't
pretty
eat him?
interesting. And if that wasn't enough, here we have a link for a blog on the kidnapping and murder of Adam Walsh. In 2011, Reve Walsh sat down with Nightline ABC to discuss a new book, Bringing Adam Home, which tells the story of her son's case and the tragedy that they went through. We're going to jump down here a little bit. She's basically talking about how grief-stricken she is even decades later. And she says, "We are going to get a cold case detective. We're going to start from the beginning and have this man work this case. I don't care if you go to work just to pay the bill of this private investigator." She was saying this to her husband, and John said, "I know the guy." That guy was Joe Matthews, a retired police detective who had been briefly involved in the Walsh case early on and was critical of how it was handled. After combing through the case file, Matthews made a major discovery: a roll of film from the crime scene of Otis Toole's car. It was film that the original detectives never bothered to have developed. Pictures show bloody footprints on the driver's side of Toole's car. On the rear floorboard of the car, where Toole admitted to tossing Adam's severed head, pictures show the bloody outline of a face. I have a blood transfer from Adam's face onto the carpet. You can actually see his image. It's as clear as the Shroud of Turin, Veronica's veil. It's clear. He showed the picture to the Walshes. To me, it was the one thing that a mother knows, is that this is their child, that this picture is their child. This is the piece of evidence that ties everything together for me, and I can go to my grave knowing that not only that I did everything that I could, but that I found my answers in that photo. So the family is very content with the findings. They believe that is their son. The imprint being in Toole's car and being a photo that came from that series definitely leads them to believe that Otis is in fact guilty. All of that being said, this is not a technical, scientific result. It's really a shame that the blood samples could not be DNA tested at this point, because that would certainly put it together. The problem I have is that we know Otis was involved with other murders. And you have a grieving family, and you're relying on the analysis of their grief, or a filter of their grief on their analysis. And is it possible that she is seeing her boy's face? For sure, it's possible. Is there some possibility that she's seeing someone else's
Oh, sorry, y'all.
face? and thinking it's her boy's face, that is still possible in my mind, which is unfortunate. And I think at least for them to move forward and have that belief is probably the healthiest thing that they could do. All of that being said, the detectives in this case, the police that are involved with this case, I just can't believe that this evidence went missing and they can't do DNA analysis to firmly conclude what happened here. That is the biggest crime outside of this actual murder that I see around this case. As a matter of fact, it makes me wonder a bit, how did all that evidence go missing, or why did that evidence go missing? Is there some reason why that evidence was removed purposefully? For example, if DNA testing all of a sudden was becoming popular and someone in charge knew that that case would not hold up to that scrutiny and ordered that information to be destroyed, something along those lines, I can't quite cut that out of my mind. Just to touch on it, I know I kind of streamed away from the guy that's claiming to be Adam Walsh on Facebook. I continued reading that book from there, and it went into an analysis about the dental imprints. And while there's some controversy around it, the dental records showed that Adam had a filling in one particular
I agree,
tooth. The author got information from the coroner's office, and there's some debate if that information lines up or not. I did not find it very compelling. I find that the author is spending a lot of time trying to force the point that the tooth is not a match, and there are pretty reasonable assumptions that could be made about how that information was misconveyed or seen by different experts in a different way. I personally did not find it very compelling at all. But just to say it's there, I just wanted to share that with you. And finally, I don't think that you could tell the story of Adam without reviewing the aftermath. There were many amazing things that happened from this. Following the crime, the Walsh family founded the Adam Walsh Child Resource Center. The Walsh family organized a political campaign to help missing and exploited children. This led to the creation of the Missing Children Act of 1982 and the Missing Children's Assistance Act of 1984. Today, Walsh continues to testify before Congress and state legislatures on crime, missing children, and victims' rights issues. His latest efforts include lobbying for a constitutional amendment for victims' rights. The Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act was signed into law by George W. Bush on July 27, 2006. By the late 80s, many malls, department stores, supermarkets, and other such retailers have adopted what is known as a Code Adam, a movement first made by Walmart stores. A Code Adam is announced when a child is missing in a store, or if a child is found by a store employee or customer. If the child is lost or missing, all doors will be locked and a store employee is posted at every exit, while a description of the child is generally broadcast over the intercom system. Code Adam is a term that has become synonymous with a missing child and is a predecessor to an Amber Alert, which serves as a system of broadcast-driven community notification. So you can see, if nothing else, when I look at this story, I'm amazed at how the energy of grief wasn't allowed to fester in a negative way, particularly for John Walsh. He was able to funnel all of that frustration and energy into a bunch of positive things that helped make this world a bit of a better place.
But was he? Was he able to put all his energy into, yeah, he did America's Most Wanted, which is great. I think she knows what I'm getting at. He did America's Most Wanted, which is great. But all that anger and stuff that he had in him, can we really say that he put that into a positive thing? Because I found out a few things about Mr. Walsh that's not too positive on the positive side.
But you got to look at it this way too.
Allegedly.
A trauma victim. That was a trauma, what he went through, him and his wife went through.
Right.
It was a very big trauma. And usually trauma victims have their own, they have like Otis Toole. his trauma. Look what happened with his trauma. He did benefit from his son's death, but what she's leaning at is something more. So I'll let her go. I'll let her.
No, tell them. You can tell them.
I'm just saying, he did. They made a lot of money off of America's Most Wanted. I'm sure he got paid lots of money. I think we're lagging, or mine might be lagging.
Yeah, because I closed all my things. It's stuff for
I don't
this.
I don't have anything open either, but it could be my internet. But anyway, he was I'm sure he has PTSD from what happened to his son. You know, it does bring on some kind of mental illness when you go through a trauma. And they went through a trauma, you know, seeing their son's head and all that shit. But at the end of the day, sometimes that's what makes monsters out of people in the end. So, you see what I'm saying? Like Otis Toole's trauma, look what it did to him. It made him a serial killer.
Mm-hmm. And there's some allegedly things about Mr. John Walsh that I hope is not true, but it's out there.
It's out there, yes.
And we will be talking about that, but I wanted to really get the focus, talk about his son's story, and because that's really the beginning of it.
Are you going to cover that tonight?
What?
What
Him? No.
Mm-mm.
No, because I got to get all the information.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to cover that part. But I do want to play y'all the interview. Now, somebody was at the mall. There was two girls that witnessed what's his name again? Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah. There was two girls that witnessed Jeffrey Dahmer at that mall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It's how you deal with it, exactly. And I found an audio that someone did. They interviewed the two ladies. Y'all want to hear it? Hear what they got to say? Let's go. Because he's done with his stuff, so basically. And y'all want to check out his channel? His link is down below. His link is down below, I say. His link is down below, I say.
You want me to post it?
I did it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I've been did it.
Okay.
Oh, y'all tired?
I'm just got a headache.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Speak up for
The true story of Adam Walsh case, Twin Cities. Now, this is Maya Taylor. She is at the mall. She said, yes, we do. I got y'all. All right, let's get it. I'm not even going to talk.
I'm going to be trying to get in on some of your shows and watch them, honey. I will catch up. I'm sorry.
All right. Walk me through this, Mia, your involvement in this case and what you saw. Were you also at the Hollywood Mall that day in Sears?
Yes. It was myself and my brother and my mother were all at the mall that day. And my mom.
How old were you?
Talk to one of her friends.
Mia?
I was 10 years old.
Okay, 10 years old, sure.
1981.
All right.
Actually, I had just turned 10 a few months before. And my brother Joel was 9, but he was a lot bigger than me. He looked older than me. But it's like, okay, y'all guys can hang out here because we were over in the toy department. And she went to talk to her friend that works in a store just outside of Sears. And so we were sitting there hanging out, and my brother and this kid who I believe was Adam was, standing there talking and everything. And there was some older kids who were, arguing and stuff. And they were basically like, where's your mom? And so I'm like, my mom's right over there. And, my brother and I started walking away. And that's when we saw Jeffrey Dahmer, this man who basically, I didn't know it at the time until back when Willis got a hold of me. He handed me a bunch of pictures. He says, "Hey, look at these pictures and tell me if you identify any of these people that you saw." And I identified a particular picture. Anyway, back up a little bit. What got me is the man who we'd seen over by the toy department was seen also the day before, because we were in the mall on Sunday and Monday. Because like I said, my mom's got a friend who worked there. And on Sunday, this same guy who I saw talking to this little kid when we were all leaving the toy department, he had come up to my brother and was asking my brother about, he had like a little hole in it was the type of game, it was one that the ball just rolled around. It wasn't like a video game or anything like that. And
sure, it was one of those little handheld games where you had like a maze with a little silver ball in it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Sure.
But my brother and I, we were walking down the hallway, going back to where my mom was, and this guy stepped out in front of us. I mean, really weird closely, and I could smell alcohol on his breath, and he just looked not right. But he stops and he's looking at my brother only. I mean, there's two of us standing there, but he's concentrating on my brother. And he goes, do you know anything about this game? Can you help me play it or something like that? And I'm like, I've always been like real spunky, I guess.
Right.
But, and my brother is learning disabled, so I was always protective of him. It's my little brother. But, I kind of says, no, he doesn't know anything about it. There's Mom, let's go. And I grabbed my brother's arm and walked off. But the way that this guy was just in my brother's face. Well, it was the very next day, which was Monday. We were there again, middle of summer. And, it was.
Thank you, Debbie.
Middle of the day. We were supposed to be getting with my mom to go and get lunch and everything. So anyway, we were leaving the store, and this same guy had this little boy. And my brother was like, "Hey, can I talk? Can I stand here with my little friend?" And he goes, and my mom says, "No, his dad's with him." And so we went ahead and left. And I saw this man holding the little boy by the tips of his fingers. And he's telling him, he goes, "You're not my daddy," like something like to that effect. And we left. So we didn't hear about the case because we lived way further south. It was a few days before we heard about the case. But no one ever contacted any of us. Somehow Joe Matthews, as far as I know, they might have talked to my mom. I really don't know. But Joe Matthews, in, I guess, several years ago, had written this book saying that he had talked to my brother and he talked to me, and that we had identified a specific person, and my brother said certain things, or that I said certain things. And I've never talked to Joe Matthews in my life. So that's all I know about all of it.
Interesting. And when you looked at these pictures that Willis gave you, did he show you a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer from 1981?
He showed me a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer from 1981, and it's not the same picture that the world saw on the news when he was arrested in Wisconsin. He looked nothing like himself. I personally had no idea it was Jeffrey Dahmer until Willis said, because he sent me an array of pictures. And I'm like, this is the guy I saw right there. He had the, scruffy, kind of scruffle on his face, longer hair. And I had said, this is the guy. And he goes, do you know who that is? I said, no, but that's the guy I saw that day. That's who I saw. And as a matter of fact, that Otis Toole, his picture was in there. And I'm going, that's definitely not who I saw. Because I had made a statement to my brother he and I were sitting there watching America's Most Wanted one night, and they had Adam's case on. And they had pictures of this Otis Toole on there, and I'm going, that cannot be that guy, because if that is him, the years have been awful on him, because he had way more hair. And I made a statement to that effect. And that statement was somehow given to Joe Matthews, because that statement ended up in his book, but it was twisted around as if I was identifying Otis Toole. And that was not the conversation I had with my brother.
And who is she saying it is? Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yep. but looked way different. And they
Well, he
tried
was
to
a lot
like,
younger then.
yeah, right,
And
exactly.
scraggly, he said.
hmm
Scraggly.
They try to flip it around, like
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. Wow. And then there's another girl, but we'll do that another day.
Yeah.
We'll do a part 3 because this was part 2. Yeah, we'll do a part
Mm-hmm.
3. But there's another girl that was at the
Mm-hmm.
mall,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll listen to that next time,
Okay.
next weekend, because the whole next week we got other different cases.
Oh my
But
gosh. I
yeah,
still got to finish Johnny Gosh's case. I got to get that done this week. I want to be done with that one because I got 3 others.
oops, what did I do? Pushed it
Hmm?
up. Well, I don't know. Okay, let me just not mess with that. I don't know. I just pushed it up by mistake.
Understand?
okay.
Right. No, I understand completely. Mia, for just a few more seconds, you
Oops.
saw
Ooh.
Adam Walsh
Why are you
with
teasing us, Brooklyn?
Jeffrey Dahmer. You saw them leaving the Sears, correct?
Cause
Yes, I
I
did.
don't know if
So
y'all
you were an
tired.
eyewitness
I know
directly to that.
some of
Right,
them,
the person that we
some of
believe to
y'all
be
got
Jeffrey
work
Dahmer
tomorrow.
from
What's
the
today?
pictures.
Saturday.
The person
Yeah,
I was shown the
bugging.
picture of in that array of pictures
Today
and the
is
one,
Sunday.
that's who I saw that day. And I have a memory that
I'm
just
thinking today is
doesn't stop. So it's
Sunday.
like,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
You know I'm
I
bugging.
had no idea it was Jeffrey Dahmer until, because he'd
I'm
email
thinking
me these
today is
pictures and then
Sunday.
I'd
I'm
email
like,
back,
oh,
I
y'all
think
got
it's this
work
one, and then he'd email me
tomorrow.
back. We were not
I
even
know.
really talking on the
Kathy
phone
B
too
got
much,
work
other than when
tomorrow. Some
he
of y'all
called,
work
introduced
tomorrow,
himself. He said, "Are you
Katie.
willing to look at some pictures?" And that's how I came to know Willis.
Have you
And,
ever considered, Mia, in order to draw this
Said
story
I'm
back
up.
to the attention
I'm down.
and help blow this back up? Have you ever considered suing the author, that former police officer that was part of the case, for not having spoken to you, not having a waiver
Thank you,
to
Debbie. Thank
use
you,
the
you
quotes you
know.
supposedly gave him? Because usually in those
You
kind of
guys are awesome.
situations, you have to sign like a release that you're giving this interview, you're doing these things for the book. And if you didn't do that, it might draw some attention, and then at least get the attention back on the fact that if these facts are incorrect, maybe this case is worth opening again and taking a look at Jeffrey Dahmer as a very viable suspect in this crime.
Right? Yeah.
I've never thought about suing anybody for it. I just
Oh,
figured,
dang.
Eventually the truth would come out. And
That
like
may
I said, I
be something you want to talk to Willis about off air. Again, I don't know exactly where it stands, but I know when, being an author of a book myself, I had to get releases from people that I quoted in the book, and to use their photos or art or anything that, their
No.
theories, their ideas. I had to get signed release so that,
I
I
did
wasn't
not even
misrepresenting
know.
them.
Oh
Right.
my God.
I did not even know that I was mentioned in the book until Willis told me. And I ended up getting a copy, downloaded on my Kindle and started reading it. And he
That's
spelled
something else.
our last names wrong.
Hmm.
So maybe he was going off some fiction or I don't know.
Interesting. Well, yeah, if there's never been
I
an
never
interview.
knew until Willis told me, and that was just
Sure.
in 2013 is when I found out about it.
Fascinating. Mia, thank you for coming on and sharing your insights with us. Is there anything else you wanted to share before we let you go? I know you're not here for the whole interview, but was there anything else about this
Okay,
case
we
you
could do
wanted
part 3
to
then.
mention?
I mean, we could do the other interview now.
I'm with Willis. I'm frustrated at this point
All
because the
right.
truth
They
should
like,
be
yes.
told, and there should be
I
justice
was
for
talking about
Adam.
Jason Dugard.
Basically,
Oh,
every
okay.
suspect they've had
You know that
is
case?
dead, but the truth should be known, and I, feel like this Detective Matthews,
So
he should be outed for the liar he is, because he has lied in this situation, and
yeah,
I personally don't appreciate it.
next code.
Well, then that is something.
I'm offended for Adam.
Right.
He
And
needs justice.
that might be, again, I would talk to an attorney about that and see, because it may help rouse the attention of everyone involved. And have you ever personally tried to reach out, Mia, to John Walsh about this story and about
The
your
interview for sure,
non-involvement in
Brooklyn.
this
I got
book?
y'all right after this.
No, I've actually really never talked to
Interview
anybody
with who?
except Willis
The next
Okay.
interview.
and now you.
The
Well,
other
thank
lady.
you. Thank you so much for
Okay.
coming on this evening and sharing
It
your
was
She's a
short.
insights
late
with us
girl,
and
right?
your personal account. And
Okay.
we
I'm
appreciate
gonna
the
go
time.
in here
And
and
again,
get me an ice
please
pack
keep
for
us
my
in the
Yeah,
neck.
loop if
baby,
you
go
end
I'll
up
ahead.
do that.
doing something
I'll be
It's
right
gonna be.
back.
It's
looking
probably
into the
gonna be
legal
short
aspect
anyway.
of
This
this.
was a
Again,
short
like
one.
I
Okay.
said, not necessarily
It's
looking to
okay.
milk anybody out
It's
of
okay. I
money,
just
but
want to go
by
get me some
by
relief.
regaining public attention to the fact that if he was misquoting eyewitnesses, that leads us down a different pathway altogether and should be reviewed, I think. So Mia, good luck with that, and I hope that that might get some doors open again.
Yeah, something I might just look into because at this point, like I said, somebody's got to make sure that the truth comes out.
Right. All right.
Because this guy should not be allowed to walk around lying.
We'll let you get flying. Thank you for being a part of the show,
Oh,
Mia.
I did write her name down. Mia, Taylor, and Janice. I'm coming for you, Mia. I will be searching for you, girl. Come on over here in Brooklyn Squad, boo.
I've always
Come on over here on Brooklyn Squad, honey. We want you to see you, my love. All right, y'all. I'm looking for the other one. That was a short interview with some good stuff, though. Here the other one go, but I'm gonna wait for our love. What y'all doing? I know she want to cover another case. You know what other case y'all want to see us do to another one together? I want to talk about the what was his name? Oh my God, what was that other guy? I was just telling her the other day after her live yesterday. It was yesterday her live. I was just telling her yesterday about it. The Zodiac Killer. What y'all think about the Zodiac Killer? Or Jeffrey Donald? Because since we're talking about him, we might as well dig into his stuff. You heard of the Zodiac? Yes, him too, right? Yo, I remember when I was living in a foster home in Brooklyn. I think I was like 9 or 10. That's when I heard of the Zodiac. Both? Okay. Yes, both. Yeah, the Zodiac. I remember him because he was unaliving people with their zodiac signs. And I remember we was waiting for the Yogi Bear bus when I was a little girl, and people were talking about that. Like even the little kids on the block was like, be careful out here, because my foster mother was like, I want y'all home at a certain time because remember they got that Zodiac killer out there. I was like, a Zodiac killer? I was like, he killed people because of your signs, and I'm a Capricorn. So we used to always say, well, what's your sign? What's your horoscope? I wonder if he killed anybody that have your sign. Like we was bugging. You never heard of the Zodiac? Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do that one. I never digged into his case or anything, so that would be something new for me too. No, it was I don't think it was never solved, Debbie. Oh, that's a creepy one. They all creepy, but that one is like really like, oh, that's crazy, right? Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna all do that together on here, cause shit, I don't know shit about that one. I just know that he was doing unaliving people because of their zodiac sign. And I'm a Capricorn, and I remember the little girls on the block would be like, well, what's your sign? What's your sign? Because we would hear that whoever he had unalive, they would be like a certain sign, and we're like, oh, I'm not that sign, so he ain't take that. He ain't gonna kill me because I'm this sign. He took her life because she that sign. It was crazy. We was like
It
8
was.
years old.
It was
Crazy.
crazy.
I gotta do the zodiac next, Karen.
Yeah, I want to cover JC Dugard. Do you remember that story?
No, I know nothing about that.
She was a little girl that got kidnapped, and years, like what, 20 years later, they found her. And she had had 2 children by this man. She was 11 or 12 years old, something like that, when he kidnapped her. They found her years later, and he kept her in a thing in his yard. He was a convicted sex offender.
Wait a minute, wasn't Law and Order did something over that? I think.
Oh, a bunch of people.
But they called it another name, though. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But her name was JC Dugard, and his was Philip Garrido.
And
he
she
was
had
tent.
They got married or something, or they had a baby or something.
No, he got her pregnant.
He got her
She had
pregnant.
her first baby, I think what was it, 13, 14? She was young.
He kept her like in a thing outside, like a barn.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Law and Order SVU did an episode on that.
Yes. A lot of people did episodes on her. There's actual video of her talking about it, what happened.
Really? Oh, okay, you should cover that. You should do that then.
Yeah, I am eventually.
I would be very interested in that because I watched Law and Order, and I remember when they did an episode on it. Of course, they're gonna call it another name, you know.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Damana said the Long Island Gilgo Beach serial killer, I believe, is a Long Island criminal glop. Oh, I never heard of that one.
Long Island criminal cop. Is that what she meant?
Yeah, I said clock. I'm sorry. Don't mind me, y'all. Get out of here. What? Did you ever hear about that one?
Yeah. Yeah, that case has been out.
Get out of here. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, I've seen that. I followed a lot of cases over the years. I've always been into true crime and stuff. I haven't covered them because I was mostly working with Tommy Jude covering stuff and on that case, Brian Kohlberger. But I've always wanted to do these, so that's why I'm into this.
That's interesting. I never heard of him. Yes, they blamed it on someone else.
Was the Air Force veteran?
You know. Oh, shoot.
You think that's what it is?
So what? They never caught the person? They never caught him, I mean?
What did she say? Hang on.
Hold on. What are you saying? Finally identified in famous mystery Zodiac killer who massacred 5 people. Girl, she looking that up.
Do what?
During this time, Miss Goldberg and his group of sleuth case breakers have claimed to find evidence suggesting. Oh, yes. And they did a Lifetime, I think it was a Lifetime movie on that, was Air Force veteran Gary France. Look, you knew it's looking that up. Oh my gosh.
Here it is.
Yeah, they blamed
I'm going to send you the link.
All right, babe. Oh, look. I remember that Long Island. Oh, your new says she remembered that Long Island serial one too.
Oh, here comes the devil, y'all. Come here.
What happened?
He harasses me.
Who?
Come here. I'll show you. Come here. Say hi
the
to
cat?
everybody. Yeah, tell them what you did today when you wanted my salad.
Oh, he scratched the hell out of you the other day.
Yes.
You've been a bad kitty cat.
But I love Mama. Say I love Mama. But I's mean if I want something.
Her fur baby. Uh-huh.
He's our last rescue. We have 2 other rescues.
Aww. All right, y'all, let's get into the second interview, baby. Now, her name is Janice Satamaz. Girl, I don't know how to say her last name, but Santamassion. Santamazani. I guess he gonna say it in the beginning. All right, let's see.
And I saw this
grubby, disheveled man there. That didn't even look like he
Well,
belonged
Dave
in the
sound like
toy
he's choking
department.
out there.
Janice Santomassino believes she saw Jeffrey Dahmer in the toy
Let me go
department of
see
a
my
Hollywood,
hubby.
Florida
Okay.
Sears in
Sorry, choking.
1981. She says she also talked to 6-year-old Adam Walsh just minutes before he disappeared from the same store. She believes Dahmer may have kidnapped him.
We locked eyes 50 seconds, and man, Heather, I got the weirdest feelings in the sky.
Until now, she says she was never given the chance to talk about it. She says her numerous calls to Hollywood police were never returned. But a new article in the Miami Herald says Santomassino is just one of several witnesses who now think Dahmer did it. The newspaper showed the witnesses pictures of several men, including Dahmer, and told them to pick the man they say they saw just minutes before Walsh disappeared. All chose Dahmer.
I got this strange feeling. It was weird. I just knew it was him. I said to Aunt, that's him. That's the one I saw in the toy aisle.
But in 2008, Hollywood police closed the case, naming convicted serial killer Otis Toole as Adam's killer. Adam's father, America's Most Wanted host John Walsh, agrees. Walsh didn't return our request for comment, neither did Hollywood police. Then there's the blue van, one seen at the mall that day. Now we're learning Dahmer, who worked down there at the time, had access to a van through his job. Yet another reason the journalist who wrote the article thinks the case needs to be re-examined.
I do believe that Otis Toole did not kill Adam. The evidence is extremely sketchy, and I do believe that the evidence is compelling that Jeffrey Dahmer could have killed Adam Walsh.
So would you like to see police reopen this case?
Yes.
Tell me about your new neighbors.
They're black.
There's just something real strange about her, you know?
There she is, slaving away in the kitchen. Next thing you know, we have criminals. We are living next door to a racist.
You take care of him, and I will take care of her.
Shut your mouth, boy.
My name's Karen. Bad things happen to people that don't comply.
Karen.
Yeah.
Before bringing
Sorry,
you the
y'all.
very first in-person view of the man accused of running down a mother and daughter downtown. Tonight, some of Monty
What
Henderson's
happened?
freedom has been frozen. A judge is keeping Henderson on house arrest 24/7
Who's this?
until he goes to trial.
This comes less
And
than
you think-
24
went
hours
to that
after
after?
we showed you new video of the deadly accident.
Walsh, just minutes before he disappeared from the same store. She believes Dahmer may have kidnapped him.
I'm sorry, y'all, but it sounded like my man was choking in there in his sleep.
And man, Heather, I got the weirdest feelings in the sky.
Until now, she says she was never given the chance to talk about it. She says her numerous calls to Hollywood police were never returned. But a new article in the Miami Herald says Santomassino is just one of several witnesses who now think Dahmer did it. The newspaper showed the witnesses pictures of several men, including Dahmer, and told them to pick the man they say they saw just minutes before Walsh disappeared. All chose Dahmer.
I got this strange feeling. It was weird. I just knew it was him. I said to Aunt, that's him. That's the one I saw in the toy aisle.
But in 2008, Hollywood police closed the case, naming convicted serial killer Otis Toole as Adam's killer. Adam's father, America's Most Wanted host John Walsh, agrees. Walsh didn't return our request for comment, neither did Hollywood police. Then there's the blue van, one seen at the mall that day. Now we're learning Dahmer, who worked down there at the time, had access to a van through his job. Yet another reason the journalist who wrote the article thinks the case needs to be re-examined.
I do believe that Otis Toole did not kill Adam. The evidence is extremely sketchy, and I do believe that the evidence is compelling that Jeffrey Dahmer could have killed
Karen in the
Adam Walsh.
movie.
So would you like to see police reopen this case?
Yes.
Yes. Fuck yeah. Okay, that was a quick one. Lord have mercy. That was it for that.
So now what are y'all thinking?
No, I can't say his name right, but
Dahmer?
yes. And he had the van.
I told y'all that. It was a blue van that
It was
where he worked.
Yeah. Why can't they reopen this case?
Because John Walsh is convinced that it's Otis, and as far as he's concerned, it's done. Why he doesn't want to believe it's Jeffrey Dahmer, I don't know. But
That's
I
a
don't know.
shame. And they both unalive, right?
Jeffrey Dahmer he got killed in prison, and
Right.
Otis died of
Liver.
cirrhosis of the liver. Yeah,
Cirrhosis
I
of
could
the liver failure.
at 49. So
Young. That's young. But they could still get. They could still open. If those two is unalive, right?
mhm.
Can they still open? They could still open up a case.
But you got to look, when you open up a case, you're using money that on cases. Both of the guys are dead, so they're just gonna let it ride. But if you go back and look, it still shows this case is unsolved. It's
Yeah,
just
I see
saying
it
that they
everywhere.
all believe. But
Because he
as
recanted
far
it.
as the police, yeah, but as far as the police and Adam's dad, his family, they all believe it's Otis, so they're going to leave it alone. So
My
I just think,
Lord,
and I
Lord.
might be wrong, but when I started uncovering all this, that's why I didn't say anything to you, because I wanted you to, because you had made the comment to me, well, Jeffrey Dahmer was in the mall. And I thought, no, you're going to find out more than that. You're going to
Yeah.
find out a whole lot more.
He was dumb Zodiac because some of his puzzles included. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to go digging in that one. Oh, that used to scare me when we were little. Oh, that used to scare me.
The Candyman was one that scared me, and he's tied to Johnny Gosh. So,
the Candyman, yes. Oh, I used to like the movie.
And the killer, my grandson he just turned 10, and he tells me that, what is that guy, the black guy headed, it's a black figure. What is it? I'll have to ask my granddaughter.
Candyman, right? No, he had that thing.
You guys know what I'm talking about? It's a black figure. It's looks kind of like a stick figure. Let me ask Alyssa.
All right. The Candyman had that kind of what's that? That saw his hand like it was a.
Was it?
Yeah. Remember? Was it him, y'all? Yeah, I remember because he was black. Candyman, the black guy.
He was. Yeah, he was a black guy.
Yeah, he was the black guy. He was handsome black
because-
guy. It's the same. Shame he's a killer.
Which is weird. If you go back, you didn't see many black guys as serial killers. You know what? It was always white men. But then
That's
you started seeing women. Eileen Morris.
You got to do some women.
Yes, Eileen Morris was one.
I was thinking of that when I was saying about the serial killer. I was gonna say, y'all, we got to do some females too.
Oh yeah, we will.
Son of Sam scared me in the sun. Debbie said she was scared as hell of the Son of Sam.
And
I was scared of the Exorcist. You're talking about some possessive stuff.
Charles Manson
That's
was
a true
another one.
story.
Charles Manson was another one that scared me.
Charles Manson. That's the name I couldn't get out before.
Yeah, he scared me.
He had all those people do his crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them just got out of prison.
Yes, she did.
I wanted to talk about that, and I forgot.
The Ripper crew. That's one I'm going to be covering this week in this Johnny Gosh case. Y'all know who they are, don't you?
No. The
Honey,
Ripper
they
crew.
were. Do you know what necrophilia is?
I heard that. Sure. Bring it back to me.
Where they're having sex with dead bodies.
Okay. Oh, that's what what's his name was doing.
Jeffrey Dahmer. Just the same thing as Jeffrey Dahmer. Alyssa, come here a minute, hon.
Hey, Alyssa, you watching us?
She's got a friend over. Come here. I'll get her to come speak. Alyssa, come say hi.
Hi, Alyssa.
It's Jasmine. Hi. Hang on. Get over here and say hi.
Aw. Hey, girl. Thank you for requesting me. She's so sweet.
Say hi.
Hey, y'all. Why you have that pretty
today.
face?
Who is that thing that y'all were scared of forever? That stick thing. Slender Man.
Oh, I never heard. I've heard, but don't know about him.
They were scared to
Slender Man.
death. And one night, I was asleep. I was working like late shifts, and she kept telling me that it was in the closet. And that night, I swear, remember that? When I saw that black figure in there? You don't remember that? Well, Isaiah said, my grandson's in that room now, and he says, because I have my apartment.
Son's name?
Yeah, he was scared. He thinks it's in that closet one night. Don't say nothing. Don't get him started on it again. But we got him quiet. So that's my granddaughter, y'all.
Yes. Aw.
Everybody
Said
says
hi,
she looks like
Elisa.
me.
She said hi. Everybody says hi.
Everybody says hi, Alyssa. They say she looks like me when I was younger.
That's when she requested me as a friend, and I saw the picture of y'all together. I said, that's family. So,
Yeah.
yep. Mm-hmm.
That's my granddaughter. That's my middle granddaughter. I have one older.
Aw. She's so pretty, too. Slender Man. Hey, Barbara. I'm sorry. Hey, Barbara.
My
She said,
grandson
hey,
did the same.
everyone.
Hey.
Barbara.
Oh, I thought she was already in there. Hey, Barbara.
She just popped up.
Okay.
Hey, Barbara. But
you will
what I
make a
was gonna
list.
say-
How about y'all do that?
Yes.
How about y'all make a list of things that you would like us to cover?
There you
And
go.
then the next show, we'll get together and start getting some
Start-
information. Thank you,
yes.
Debbie.
Yes. That's a good idea. Y'all make a list. Put it together.
Yeah.
And we gonna
we'll
cover it all. But y'all gonna have to, it'd be cool if y'all come up here with us. Some of y'all
Yeah.
can come up here with us. Yeah.
Anybody want to come on panel when we're doing these shows?
When we're doing our thing, yeah. I
Um,
would play, but I know your head's not doing
No,
good. So
you're
we
okay.
got-
You're
No,
I've already
you need
taken-
you need
I've
to lay
taken
down.
4 ibuprofen and 4 Tylenol today.
You
And
need to lay down. So we about
it ain't
to
gonna do no good, honey. It's not what that is.
really.
Yeah, it's my Chiari acting up. It does it.
I saw. Did you see the interview of John Walsh and his wife when the son went missing? It's on here. You want to see it?
Yeah, we can see if y'all want to
Oh,
see it.
did you see it?
I've seen it before.
Oh, look, Demanda said I would like to come on with y'all. You want to come
Well,
up
come
now?
on.
Come on up. Let me drop the
Send me a
link. If
She'll
you
drop
go
a link
earlier,
and
like
you just click
before
on it.
hubby gets home. Oh, if I go earlier, like before when hubby gets home, like what time you know? Like 7:30?
Oh, my neck.
I know I'll be going kind of late, right, y'all? Let me drop the link.
I've done one. At what time was it latest?
I used to go 2, 3 in the morning, y'all.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I went to bed at 4 o'clock this
Oh, I
morning.
got it right today, y'all. Look at that. Sometimes I can't get the link right for some reason.
I know I've had that problem too.
You too?
Mhm.
It's something. It's my hand. It might be my hands because of arthritis. I don't know, but I
Come
dropped
on
there.
up,
You can
please.
come on up. While she's coming up, pull her up for me. You could pull somebody up on that side, right?
Yeah, I think. No, I can't.
No? All right.
Well, maybe I can. Maybe I can copy the link out of Messenger and post it.
My
Anybody
time
else want to
central
come up?
3 or 4. Oh, girl, you talking about 3 or 4, baby? It's too early
I'm
for
the
her.
3 or 4. I'm the 3 or 4. Because
Oh yeah, she the 3 or 4.
I don't like the late nights because I can't barely stay up. Does anyone else like to come up? I'll drop a link.
You know, my housewife duties, it don't end until like
I know. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link.
6, 7.
And
I'll be doing so much other stuff between that.
we know, honey, we know. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link while you're doing
Hey,
that.
Josephine. Can you
Is she
hear
still-
us?
Check your mic and your
Check
camera.
your mic. Yeah. Go ahead, girl. You do your thing. She getting a hang of this. Check your mic and your camera. Hi, my girl.
Okay, let me see if I can get this link in here, y'all.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
How you doing?
We
Miss
good.
Shirley,
I'm
how are you?
blessed.
Listen to that accent.
I'm doing all right.
Hey, we got New York up in the building.
It didn't drop the link.
Thank you
Hang
for
on.
letting me come on.
Of course. What part of New York you from? Now you say New York, so that's Manhattan?
I was born in Brooklyn.
Hey. Okay. Are you still in Brooklyn?
I was born in Brooklyn. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. At 6 years old, my mother told my dad that we had to move out of Brooklyn because my mom was pregnant with my youngest brother, and we were standing at a corner waiting to cross, and a really nice car pulled up across the street, and a man was getting out, and then all of a sudden this car came speeding around the corner and just started shooting. Bah, 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 bah.
Oh,
He
wow.
shot one of the mob bosses. I think I was either 5 or 6 years old, but I know at 6 years old we moved to Long Island, where I mostly lived. I traveled a little bit. I lived in Okinawa, Japan for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my first husband was in the Air Force, and while I was there, I went to the Philippines for 10 days. I loved it. Gotta love it.
Really? I
Yeah,
have a
and
son that
then
lives in France.
I was basically off of Long Island for like 5 years. Because
Oh,
from
wow.
Okinawa, we were stationed in Valdosta, Georgia, and then from Georgia, we went back to Long Island. And right now, I live in upstate New York.
I do too.
Oh yeah, cool. I'm in Washington County.
You said Rockland?
Washington County, upstate New
Oh.
York, Washington
Oh, I'm
County.
in Washington County. I'm in Orange County.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's where that motorcycle
Yeah.
TV show, right?
Yes,
I think
yes,
Orange
yes.
County Chopper.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so
Mine
cool.
started right before. Oh, I did that. I could try
You
you
knew?
new though. I'll see.
You
Because I know
knew?
you do the early thing. So one day I'll just pop up and be like, guess what? You know.
You know what? One night we need to do just like a jam session, listen to music and chatting.
Right.
Yeah,
That'd
that
be
would be
cool.
nice. If
If
you
y'all would
don't get
like to.
copyrighted.
That would be
You
very
gotta get
cool.
I gotta get the music that's not copyrighted though.
No.
Yeah. What you talking about? No.
I'll take the strike. We'll do it on my channel. I'll take the strike.
You don't want to take no strikes, mama. Trust me. You just starting to? Nah, that's not. You
We
don't want
need
to
a
take no
we
strikes.
need a to figure out your Patreon and do your movie nights and
Oh
entertainment
yes,
and
yes.
wine and wouldn't that
I
be
do
nice?
have Patreon guys that I do. So let me just explain to that. I have one of my one of my mods. Can you put my Patreon down for me below? It's $5.99, and it is I get the content, the stuff that is really, really, I hate to say juicy because crime is not juicy, but certain content
Yeah.
that really alerts me, I will drop it on Patreon before I drop it on YouTube. So y'all would get it first. Also, my interviews that I do with parents, um, content creators, and all that, y'all get to come up on the panel with me. And I do movie night.
That's
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, so girls, let your hair down, but it gotta be pajamas.
Yep.
Yeah, pajama movie night, $5.99 for all that. So yeah, come join my Patreon. I got a whole bunch of stuff more that I need to put on there, like game night. I want to do Kathy B wants the game night. Yeah, I got to do game night. I got to try to
What,
figure
like
out how to do
trivia
that.
or what kind of game?
I don't know. I don't know
Let's
anything.
play some poker. I'm a pretty good poker player.
I don't know what kind of games to even play on, like even on YouTube. Like I wouldn't even know how to do a game thing. I gotta check it out. We're gonna have to learn how to do it because I would love to play a game night. I saw something that Kathy B's people were doing, and they did like a couple game night. They had their husbands and their wives up there, and it was like a couple thing. I thought that was pretty, and it was funny. I thought that was pretty cool. But it's us girls, so Yeah, I would love to do a game night, and and I got my celebrity gossip channel also. So I'm gonna be working on that some more. But the Long Island Killer. Never heard of it.
The Long Island Gilgo Beach serial killer.
It's just been recently, ain't it?
No, that was a few years ago. I don't remember the exact date, but
I
it was
mean, it
quite
had
a
been
few
that
years
long ago.
ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought, about 2 years ago.
I believe I was still living on Long Island when that hit the news. A Long Island sheriff was accused, and it was told that there was a house where he used this room in a house to literally torture and kill the women and then dump them at Gilgo Beach.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, I think last year or the year before, because the criminal cop got away with it. Not only was he accused of it, other cops along with him were, I don't care if you're a sheriff, a state trooper, or what. I call you all cops. You're all cops, I dislike cops because they're nothing but criminals, all of them, including the entire court system and the lawyers. If I told you what happened to me on Long Island, you would never believe it. Most people don't believe it. They need to make a movie out of what happened to me in the last 21 years with cops. I never broke any laws. I never did anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? I moved into a two-family house in Patchogue Village on Long Island. I had a beautiful apartment. I didn't know the other 3 adults in the other apartment were heavy-duty drug dealers. But I found out right after I moved in there. There were cars lined up and down both sides of the street with people coming there to buy drugs. I had men coming in I had a beautiful screened-in porch with slatted windows that you could roll open and close. It was all screened in. And from my kitchen, you could open the door and step out onto the beautiful screened-in porch that I had. But I had drug addicts coming in because the door lock on the screen door to go out into the backyard was broken. So I had drug addicts coming in there calling out Keith Gilliam's name, the main drug dealer, Keith Gilliam. And the first time it happened, my friend was over. And I said to my friend, I said, there's some guy on my porch calling out Keith's name. Could you get rid of him? So my friend went to the kitchen door and said to the guy, what are you doing in here? Oh, I'm looking for Keith. I'm looking for Keith. He said, Keith doesn't live back here. Get out and don't you ever come back. Well, I lived there alone. All right. And then the very next night, the same guy came into my back porch. And I yelled at him to get the F out. And I had to buy a new handle, a new lock for the screen door to stop them from coming in. I also had them coming to my front door, which I always kept locked.
Oh, that's
jiggling
crazy.
the lock, trying to get in. The drug dealing just didn't stop. It went on from 9:30 in the morning till 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. So then, I call my landlord. And I say to my landlord always pretended that she couldn't talk. She could only whisper like this. She could only whisper. That's what my landlord always, So when I called her and I said, I got to tell you something about your other 3 tenants. And I said, they're heavy duty drug dealers. And all of a sudden she yelled full voice into the phone. No, they're not. I told you they have large family members that come to visit them all the time. I said, look, nobody's family members come in here 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. One guy gets out, goes into their apartment while 2 guys are waiting in the car. There are cars lined up all day.
Just say subsidence.
To buy drugs.
Just say subsidence.
So she says, well, call the cops.
Hey, just say subsidence.
Oh, Oh,
Or
okay.
something besides that word, because YouTube be tripping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The
So
people that
then,
own YouTube, they sensitive.
so instead of calling the cops, I went to the police department and told them what's going on. I spoke with the substance enforcement officers there. All right. So then, next thing I know, the substance dealer starts slashing my tires, scratching my
Oh,
car,
what?
ripping up my cloth top. Him and his brother would get on the hood of my car and pee all over my windshield. And I was falsely arrested 7 times. I was sexually assaulted 3 times. I was physically assaulted 7 times. One cop broke the nerve, tendons, and veins in both of my hands and wrists, fractured the top of my right eye socket, and fractured the top of both my feet. And they all got away with it. They tried to literally KILL me.
I'm so
The
sorry.
first time they falsely arrested me, when I had to stay all night in jail at the cop station,
Right.
on the way to the court, the cop who falsely arrested me stood in front of me, twisted the chain on the handcuffs, crooked his head with a smile, over twisted my wrists, and locked the handcuffs so tight I thought my wrists were going to explode. He waxed the seat on the cop bus. And so when we're driving on the highway and I'm sliding out of the seat, so I arranged my feet in a certain way to prevent me from sliding out and falling in the middle of the aisle. So the cop says to the driver, slam on the brakes. And so the driver whispered, why? He goes, just slam on the brakes. And the driver didn't want to. The cop who was driving didn't want to. He kept saying, why? And wouldn't slam on the brakes. So then the cop who falsely arrested me got up, put his leg over the driver's leg and slammed on the brake. I went flying out of my seat, hitting this metal caged wall in front of me. And when I flew back, I heard click, click in my hands and my wrists. The force. He also gave me a severe concussion and sprained my neck that day. That's how my wrist, the top of my hands, and the top of my feet got broken, and the nerves, tendons, and veins in my hands got broken. Now, I don't know. I don't care who believes me or not, but the nurse in Brookhaven Hospital, when I got out of court and I went to the hospital, just lied to me. Just lied and lied and lied because the cops asked her to lie. The hospital was allowing the cops to impersonate doctors. How I know is because, I worked in the medical field, in the nursing field for over 30 years. And anybody can put on a white coat, throw a stethoscope around their neck. But one thing doctors don't do is wear a name badge dangling from their necks. And by the way, you forgot to change your cop shoes. Okay. I have an uncle who was a good New York City cop. He told me everything that went on. Because one day I said, Uncle, why aren't you a cop anymore? And the things that he told me things that would save my life, and which it did. He said, if you were ever in fear for your life from criminal cops, you make these 2 phone calls. You call your local news station, you call your local newspaper, and just keep reporting it and reporting it. Even if they do nothing, just keep reporting it. That's what I had to do, because on Long Island, they shut down Nichols Road in both directions in the middle of the afternoon. And right after I turned onto the road, I was like, something strange. It's after 3 o'clock. There's no traffic at all. Then I saw these 2 cars, unmarked cars, speeding down the other lane. And then next thing I know, they were right beside me. It's only 2 lanes. Now there's 3 cars, and they're trying to run me off the road. I had WBLI radio station on, and they came over the airway and saying, Nichols Road is shut down in both directions and nobody knows why. And here I am trying to save my life from them. They did that twice to me. The second time they closed down Nichols Road, an unmarked pickup truck with a cop in it tried running me off the road. And you know what? He ended up in the ditch, not me. I'm an excellent driver. I have a totally clean driving record, and they didn't stop. The first time they falsely arrested me, they sexually assaulted me. Oh, sorry. They assaulted me in the hallway in the courthouse, and physically assaulted me, punched me between my legs 3 times, as hard as he could.
And nothing was done. No charges,
I could
nothing. They
not.
just get
I could
away.
not. I told 4
I
different
know.
judges. It took 4 years. I insisted on a trial because I was John Gallagher, an ex-New York City cop who lived in West Sayville on Long Island. I was set up to move into his apartment, where in the middle of the night, he was using his key and sneaking up into my apartment and watching me sleep. I started sleeping with a long, pointing, sharp knife. I was in fear for my life from these cops. They followed me everywhere. Till this day, they have taken 7 vehicles from me. All right. The first day I was falsely arrested, when I got out of court, my second oldest daughter came over and said to me, Mom, Angelina was pulled over on the way to work and she was given $650 in bogus tickets. I was like, what? The next day, they pulled her over, gave her $350 in bogus tickets. 2 days later, they attacked my youngest daughter. She just turned 18. They falsely arrested her. They sexually assaulted her, strip searched her, body cavity searched her. They charged her with DUI. She only had 1 drink with dinner. She went out with friends and had dinner in a restaurant, had 1 beer. They were stalking my children. They tried to KILL my son. Yeah. Not only me, but my son. Attacked my 3 daughters. I moved off Long Island. I'm on my way. I had a beautiful Honda van. I'm on my way up here. A friend of mine was letting me store my stuff in his shed till I got my own apartment. On the way up here, about 6 feet from the Glens Falls exit, which I was getting off now, I had on my Garda GPS, and I also had on my cruise control. All of a sudden, State Trooper Aaron Mund pulls me over. He comes to my driver's window and he says, the reason I pulled you over is because you were speeding a little bit, just a little tiny bit. Asked me for my identification. I said, okay, officer, I'm going to put my seatbelt under my arm to reach my glove box to get you my paperwork. He said, okay. I put my seatbelt under my arm. I give him my information. He looks down and he says, how do you know how to get up here? Because my license is from Long Island. How do you know how to get up here? I said, my Garda GPS officer that tracks my speed, time, location, and how long I'm stopped. And he went, what? And with each what, shook his head back and forth. What? I said, officer, my GPS that tracks my speed, time, location, and how long I'm stopped. Well, then he stayed quiet. And then he said, well, when I saw you speeding by, I noticed you didn't have your seatbelt on. I said, come on, officer, don't go there. You just saw me put it under my arm to reach my glove box. Then he stayed even quieter and said, when I came to your passenger window and stuck my head in, excuse me, I have long hair down to my ass. I never drive with my passenger window open, even if my hair's in a ponytail because it blows in my face. My window was fully up. He never came to my passenger window. All right. He says to me, when I came to your passenger window and stuck my head in, I smelled a strong odor of marijuana. I was like, no, you didn't. He goes, yes, I did. I said, oh, no, you did not. He goes, oh, yes, I did. He took 2 steps back, pulled his gun on me, screamed at me, get out of the vehicle now. So I unbuckled, I got out and stood in front of my van, hoping somebody would see what was going on.
Right.
And he ordered me to the side of my van and said, I'm going to search you. I said, no, you're not. That's illegal. You'll get a female officer here, and I want a
That's
superior
right.
here. You get a superior
Mhm.
here. He goes,
That's right.
no. As long as I say I smell the odor of marijuana in your vehicle, I could do whatever I want to you. I said, no, you can't. He screams at me, put your arms out. I said, no, you get a female here, and you get a superior officer here. He said, no, pulled his gun on me again and screamed at me, put your arms out. Luckily for me that day, I had on pants that had very small, tiny pockets in the front. All right. You know, the pants with the little pockets in the front, you could fit like maybe a lighter
Yeah,
in.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So he sticks both of his hands at the same time in my front
Pants.
pockets, and he's trying to touch my crotch, and he can't. He can't touch my crotch, and he keeps trying. He takes a hold of the bottom of the little pockets, and with all his strength, he's pulling down on my pants, trying to slide my pants off of my waist. And so I filled up my stomach to prevent him from pulling my pants off of my waist, down off my waist. And then he kept trying to touch my crotch, and he couldn't. Then he went behind me, took both of his hands at the same time, stuck them in my back pockets, and kept rubbing up and down, up and down. And then he started squeezing my ass, and I flipped out. I flipped around, and I said to him, excuse my language, get your fucking hands off me. That's sexual assault. Get the fuck away from me. He kept me on the side of the road for almost 2 hours, searching my van, ripping open boxes and bags. He even stole my 2 lottery tickets, my Mega Millions ticket and my lotto ticket, into which
Did he have where was the body camera? Because did they have
back
body
then there
camera?
was no body camera. This happened 14 and a half years ago.
Oh.
Started up here.
No camera back there.
I'm sorry. This was 4.5 years ago, because I've been living up here for 4.5 years now, and the cops haven't stopped. The cops haven't stopped on Long Island. Getting back to what happened to me on Long Island, took me 4 years. I wanted a trial by jury. I wanted to efface my accuser. All right. I told 4 different judges. I had 5 different lawyers who did nothing for me but throw me in front of a moving train.
Jesus.
And then the judge says to me, I'm dismissing all the charges because I was falsely arrested 7 times. Yeah, 7 times. The 7th time I was arrested, I wasn't charged with that one because the cops illegally broke into my apartment. I was cooking breakfast. Earlier that morning, my cop landlord, John Gallagher, I was sitting in the backyard. I wasn't even living there for a month yet, but I knew I had to move because of the harassment of this landlord, you know. I was sitting in the backyard. He came to the back fence and he says to me, I never gave you permission to put this outside furniture here. I said, yes, you did. He goes, no, I didn't. I said, yes, you did. And now I'm holding out, I kept a hand recorder with me at all times. And I'm recording it all. I'm recording everything he said to me and everything I said to him. And then he goes, well, yeah, I did. But now I'm telling you to get rid of it. I said, I know who you are. You're one of those males because you have a penis in your pants. You thinks it makes you a man, but it don't. That just makes you male. He turned around and walked away. So I took all my stuff and I went upstairs. And my son was in the shower. My son happened to be over. My son was in the shower. I'm cooking breakfast. All of a sudden, my door goes flying open. No knocking, no nothing. Just flies open because the landlord used his key and unlocked my door. And all of a sudden, these cops start running up my stairs with their guns drawn. I grabbed my recorder off the counter and I held it out. Let me tell you, if that was a gun, I would have shot them. I would not have hesitated. You're breaking in my house. I would have shot them both. All right. And I tell them, stop right there. Get out. You back out right now. Everything's being recorded. Get out of my house. And then lie after lie after lie. Oh, your landlord says that you threatened to kill him. I said, that's a lie. You got proof? I still have the recordings of everything that happened. You know, I said, that's a lie. He goes, oh, well, the landlord says you threatened to burn down the apartment complex. I said, that's another lie. You got proof I said that? And then he says, well, the landlord said you threatened to kill yourself. I said, that's another lie. I have 4 beautiful children. I have 2 grandchildren. I will never hurt myself. Never. So then the cop says to the landlord, you got any witnesses? And the cop says, I'll be right back. Now his sister lived in the same apartment complex. He went to his sister's apartment, got his sister's boyfriend, brought him around to the front where my apartment was, and his sister's boyfriend says, what? So then they start saying to him, did you hear her threaten to kill herself? Did you hear her threaten to burn down this and that? And of course, the guy says yes, which it was all a lie, you know. And then
Right.
I told him, just back out. So when I went down to close the door, because they wouldn't close my door, one cop was standing behind the door. When I reached for the doorknob, he flung the door back open, and then the other cop came at me, and I turned and got 3 steps up the stairs. The cop grabbed me from behind, dragged me down the stairs, flung me around intentionally with all his strength, hitting my shoulder into the inside of the door jamb.
Jesus.
Threw me on the ground, handcuffed me, brought me to Stony Brook Psychiatric Mental Center, where I had to stay hours and hours. Finally, when I saw the psychiatrist and I told the psychiatrist what happened, she was so pissed off. She slammed her hand on her desk. She said, this should have never happened to you. I'm releasing you immediately. I'm calling you a cab. And she did, and let me go home. And he just didn't stop. In the middle of the night, he was using his key and coming up into my apartment. He didn't stop. He didn't stop. They didn't stop, you know. So I'm moving up here, and then the same stuff's happening.
What? Up here?
Yes. When I was moving up here, State Trooper Aaron Mund is the one who pulled me over and sexually assaulted me on the side of the road. Yeah. And then damaged my vehicle. I was staying with a friend of mine. I only stayed with him for a month till I got my own place. Moved into my apartment, put my surveillance cameras out there. In the middle of the night, they smoked out my surveillance camera, and I didn't know what they did to my vehicle. I'd already lost 6 vehicles. The 7th was my van, okay? They loosened all of the lugs on both tires of my van, on the front tires. Now, my son used to use my van to go back and forth to work, and he comes home and he says, Ma, there's something wrong with the car. The whole front of the van is shaking. I'm like, what the heck? I call a friend of mine who's a mechanic. He come and check, and he's like, Josephine, someone loosened all of the lugs on your tire.
Wow.
He ran to the other side and checked those lugs. He goes, all of these lugs are loosened too. I said, yeah, well, the cops smoked out my surveillance camera. Now, you ain't only trying to kill me and my son. What about everybody on the road? Don't you have any loved ones up here? If my tire came off, it could have went through their windshield and killed them. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't stop. They didn't stop. I went to a store called Hannaford's up here.
Hanford, yes.
And I'm walking, I'm doing my shopping, and 2 undercover cops, male and female, this was during COVID, following me down every aisle, talking shit about me. I just ignored them, stayed quiet, did my shopping, and left. Now, when I went to my van, when I had pulled in, there was a little black car I pulled in next to. It was still there. Okay. I'm putting my groceries in the back of my van. All of a sudden, this man pops up, sharply turns and looks at me and smiles. When he walked through, he had a tire wrench in his hand. And I said to myself, oh no, not again. I made it home. I called my girlfriend and said, please, could you have your boyfriend please check the lugs on my tires? She'd known what happened before. She said, come right over. Luckily for me, she only lived less than a mile from me. Our mouths dropped open as we watched him tighten all of the lugs on all 4 of my tires. All 4 of my tires this time. And they haven't stopped. They still follow me everywhere. They're giving me bogus tickets.
How did that damn cop? But I want to see what Mamita, what do you think about this?
I cannot get any lawyers to help me.
Karen, relentless for answers. Come up here, Mama.
I'm here. I'm just listening.
I know.
I don't know what to tell her to do. If I'd just move if I could. Is it possible?
No matter where I move, the long arm of criminal cops' corruption is a phone call away. I moved a lot of times on Long Island. The cops on Long Island forced me to be homeless. They literally forced me to be home. Okay, let's get back to the drug dealing thing on Long Island. Okay.
Wait, you knew said, how old are you now?
I'm 65 now.
Oh.
I'm 65 now.
So the cops, they harassed you all the way down there and followed you up here?
It followed me up here. It followed me up here. Yes, it did.
Is there a reason? What
the reason?
started it?
I'm about to tell you. All right, let's get back to Long Island. The 3 DR dealers, okay? Am I allowed to say the word? I don't know. But the 3 dealers, the main dealer had 2 family members on the Suffolk County Police Force. One was a cop and one was a detective. All right. Now, I started calling all of my elected officials for help. None of them would return my calls. I would go to their office. They wouldn't speak to me. When I called the mayor's office was 3 houses down from where I lived on the same street. Okay. And I'm talking to the mayor's secretary and I'm telling her what's going on. And she's like, what? Wait, where do you live? I said 73 Baker Street. I'm sorry, it was 65 Baker Street. And next thing I know, I get off the phone with her after telling her what's going on and I need help. Car pulls up in front of my house. I take my recorder and I go down and I say, excuse me, miss, do you need help? Are you broken down? And I have my recorder recording. Right. And she turns and looks at me and she says, you're mentally ill. Well, as soon as I heard her voice, I was like, you're the mayor's secretary. What are you saying that for? I called you for help. What are you doing parked in front of my house? And then she left. Okay. The mayor's secretary had all of them coming after me because the main dealer, 2 family members on the Suffolk County Police Force, all of them came after me and my children. I found out that my landlord was in on the drug dealing. I'm sorry, the dealing. Mm-hmm. Am I allowed to say the word? I don't know. But
girl, shit, I don't even know.
Yeah. And that's how it all, that's where it all started.
So you called the mayor for help and then she showed up at your door.
She pulled up in front of my house. She stayed in her car, sitting in her car. I just thought somebody was broken down, but just in case, because of what was going on, because my phone was tapped, okay? They had the cops, after the first time I was falsely arrested. If you ever want to know if your phone was tapped, when you turn it on to make a phone call and you hear loud, obnoxious clicking, loud squealing, and sometimes you'll hear a very low voices talking in the background. That's how you know your phone is tapped.
Like a fax machine?
Advice from my cop uncle.
Is that like a fax machine sound?
I didn't hear you.
Is it like a fax machine sound?
No, it's a really loud, obnoxious clicking.
Okay.
And really loud, ear-piercing squeal. And sometimes you'll hear, and sometimes I still do, hear really low voices in the background when I'm talking with somebody else on the phone. And
that is true because there was a case that I was helping someone with, and it was against the fucking police. We really think the police unalived her brother. And once I started getting into it and I had caught the detective on the case and stuff, a lot of weird shit started happening. One day we was on the phone and you can hear like a low whisper. And I said, wait a minute, be quiet for a minute. And so me and my friend Cheryl Nation, we had to tell her to start switching phones.
Yeah.
It was weird, yeah.
No matter what phone I have,
computer,
they tap every phone I get.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a long.
They even embedded themselves into my laptop because my security alerted me that
I was about.
someone embedded themselves into my laptop, but it
I
didn't
was
say
about
who
to
it
say
was.
that they started messing with her stuff on her laptop, like her
Yes.
stuff that she would send me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds
And
to me like
so
you need to just get out of that state.
that's easy to say. I now have the criminal cops affecting my Social Security. Believe me when I say cops own people in every business out here. They literally own people and get people to cause harm to me and others. Now, the last 3 months, my Social Security income, I'm not getting what I'm supposed to be getting. And I've been calling them. I've been calling the state, I've been calling the federal, and they got me on this merry-go-round. My bank statements have been falsified going back 3 years. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to get it straightened out, and I can't. Now, a couple of months ago, state trooper, I believe his name is John DiCristofaro, pulls me over. Well, I'm sorry, he didn't pull me over. They follow me from my house. Okay. They have cameras on the poles across the street from where I live. No matter where I move, they put cameras on the poles. Okay. Because they're in fear of losing their freedom because of their crimes committed against me. So my neighbor comes over. He needed a ride to a friend's house. He owed his friend some money, wanted to pay him. So I said, okay, I'll give you a ride. Now it was nighttime. The lights of this car behind me was bothering my eyes. And I say to my neighbor, that's a cop behind me. I'm going to pull over as soon as I can. And I see a driveway ahead. I put my signal on. I pull all the way off the road. The cop, the state trooper, is sitting in the middle of it's a one-way street, sitting in the middle of the street, just sitting there. All of a sudden, after 2 minutes of sitting there, he starts flashing his brights on and off for me to get back in front of him. Well, I don't want to get in front of you. First of all, you're a cop and your lights are bothering my eyes. Next thing I know, he pulls behind me, puts his lights on, comes to my window. And I also recorded with my cell phone. I say to him, what are you coming to my window for? Oh, because you're stopped in the middle of the road. I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm sorry. He said, because you did an illegal lane change. Excuse me? He said, wasn't everybody back there beeping at you? I said, no. Nobody beeped at me. I beeped the road up here, the main street up here. When I come from my house, I stay on the same road. Now there's another lane that comes into my lane, or you can turn to a turning lane to go back around. I'm in the straight lane. This car cuts in front of me, which I believe it was a cop. Okay. Believe he was a cop. I'm not sure. I won't swear on it. And he's riding down both the lanes. I slowed all the way down to a crawl, and he's in both the lanes. So I tooted very light at him. He pulls over into the turning lane to turn left to go back around. He didn't. He just sat there. So I continue to drive straight. I signal to turn right down this one-way road, and the cop follows me. And then I pulled over, and he came to my window. Yeah. So
Barbara says, can you get a phone that's in your name, and how would they know to tap that phone if it's in? Get a
Someone
phone
else.
that's not in your name.
Okay. On Long Island, I threw away my phone and went and bought another phone and put it in a different name. They still tapped it. They follow me everywhere. They got some kind of GPS on my vehicles. They follow me everywhere. And then when I leave the phone store, they're walking behind me. Oh, we're the police. We want to know. Because I went back to the phone store a couple of days later. As soon as I turned my phone on and I heard the loud clicking, I knew again my phone was tapped. I knew it.
Do you gotta oh damn shit.
On Long Island, I called so many lawyers, none of them would help me.
Yeah, they
Up
knock me into.
I've called so many lawyers, none of them will help me. Not one judge is credible. They're all criminals.
Yeah,
Now,
you're right.
when DeCristofaro gave me a bogus, he threatened to arrest me. I said, I've done nothing wrong. Oh, well, your eyes look glassy. I said, you're a liar. Your eyes look glassy. I said to him, it's all on recording. I said, how can you see my eyes are glassy? Because I only opened my window just a little bit. I said, how could you see my eyes are glassy through my dirty window? Because my window was dirty. I admit it. Okay. And he's telling me to get out of the car. I said, for what? I'm not getting out. I've done nothing wrong. I'm going to make you do sobriety tests. If you refuse sobriety test, I'll arrest you right now. I had no choice. I unbuckled. I got out, and I hand my phone to my neighbor, and I said to him, keep recording. Whatever you do, do not stop this recording. So I'm walking toward, I want to get in front of the dash cam of the state trooper's car. This is what I want to do. I want the dash cam to record everything. But he ordered me in front of my car. I no longer have my van, okay, because the criminal cops in unmarked cars hit and damaged my vehicle 9 times to the point where I could no longer fix it. I had to junk my beautiful van, Anyways, he makes me do the foot in front of foot walk, hold your foot in the air, do the pen test, do the breathalyzer test, 000. Tells me, get back in my car. I'm not free to leave. Writes me a bogus, unsafe lane change ticket. I'm on a one-way street. There's only one lane. All right. So now I say to the judge, I want a hearing. I want a trial. He's like, oh, you ain't getting no trial. This is just a traffic ticket. I said, Judge, I want a trial. I want his dash cam video, and I also want his body cam video. I get a bench hearing is what I get. And I go into the court. There's no sign-in sheet. There's no court officer. Not one court officer was in the building anywhere. No one else came into this court. There was only the criminal assistant district attorney, the criminal state trooper, the criminal judge White, and his 2 secretaries. And so they put the trooper on the district attorney puts the trooper on the stand, gives all his qualifications. Oh, I've been a state trooper for over 20 years, whatever. So now it's my turn to question him. So I say, state trooper, what lane on a one-way street did I unsafely change into? He wouldn't answer my question. He wouldn't say nothing. I said, Judge, would you please ask the trooper to answer my question? The judge leans forward and points at me. You're harassing the witness. Do it again. I'm going to arrest you for contempt of court. Tells the trooper to get off the stand. Plays the body cam video. And in the body cam video, you clearly see the state trooper walking up to my car, and I'm fully parked on the side of the road. I'm fully pulled over on the side of the road. And I insisted that the entire body cam footage be played, and they wouldn't do it. The judge finds me guilty, threatens me because puts me on a year's probation. I have a spotless, clean driving record, except for the 2 bogus tickets I got up here. The first misuse of seatbelt. Oh, I was found guilty of that too. Yeah. And I had to pay the court fee, the hearing fee, and the ticket. And I bought a money order. To know me is to love me. I'm sorry. I bought a money order, and I wrote on it, paid to a criminal corrupt court, and brought it down there. Here you go. The lady looked at it. She looked at me. She took it. After all, it's money. Yeah. And then this time, he finds me guilty. How you find me guilty is beyond me, because he gave me an unsafe lane change. It's a one-way street with one lane. You saw the video where I'm pulled all the way over to the side of the road when he comes up to my window.
Yeah, because now you up here and they got, cameras on they
Well, when I went into court the day of the hearing, I say to the district attorney, excuse me, did you get the body cam video and the dash cam video? She
Right.
turns around. Well, before that, she said she needed my email to send me the information I request with the dash cam video. All right. She never did it. Over the phone, she says to me, if you don't plead guilty right now, because she offered me to pay a $50 fine and a court fee. I said, excuse me, I'm not guilty. I'm not paying anything.
Right.
She goes, you won't have this offer once we go to the trial, once we go for the hearing. So we go for the hearing. And I say to her, did you bring the dash cam video and the car cam video? She turns around and she says, state troopers don't have dash cams in their vehicles. I said, that's a lie, because after I got off the phone with you, I called the state troopers building and I was told that all state troopers have dash cams in their vehicles. Now the judge comes out and expected me to stand up. I don't stand up. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I did not stand up. He stood there looking at me with his hands on his hip, staring at me. So I stared back at him. I don't give a fuck. Excuse my language. I don't care. I'm not standing up. You're a criminal, judge.
I don't blame you after all the shit they put you
So
through.
he sits down and he says, not one state trooper has a dash cam in their vehicles. And I say, Judge, that's a lie. I called the state troopers building. All state troopers have them in their vehicles. Okay, so we had no dash cam video, but the judge found me guilty, ordered me to pay $243, which I cannot afford. Because like I said, for the last 3 months, Social Security is not giving me my money. All they're giving me is $1,001 a month. How am I going to, my rent's $700. How am they're making it so I can't live. They're trying to force me to be homeless again, is what they're doing. All right. So after the court, a few days go by, I get a letter in the mail stating that this court accepts your guilty plea. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? I never pleaded guilty. And if I pleaded guilty, why was I having a bench hearing? You know what I'm saying? So I go down to the court and I record and all right, the state trooper in the hearing, he comes full dressed in the state trooper's uniform. He parked out in the parking lot illegally, parked in the state trooper's car. The assistant district attorney says, Judge, state trooper had to take off work today and miss a day's pay to be here to testify, which was another lie. Because if you're not on duty, why are you dressed in uniform with your gun and everything? Why are you in your state trooper's car if you off duty? Okay, I'm not a stupid woman. I have so much common sense. I like to
And
spread.
I think somebody said, Barbara said, get out of state if you can, but she don't have the income to do that.
I don't. I don't. But like I said, the long arm of criminal cops corruption is a phone call away. All I have to do is call the state, the police department in the state where I live, and they'll start harassing me. They did it everywhere I moved on Long Island. Everywhere I moved.
Hold on.
Still live there?
What you say, Cameron?
I asked, does her children still live there?
My three daughters are still on Long Island. My son's up here with me. The cops will not allow him to keep a job. On Long Island, my son worked at MacArthur Airport on Long Island for 2 years. When all this started, all of a sudden, the cops made him lose his job. They were pulling him over on the way to work, making him late for work. They were pulling him over after he left work. One time, he went into work. When he came out and sat in the car and looked up, earlier that day, the cops pulled him over on airport property, okay, and harassed him. When he came out of work and sat in my car, because he used my car to get to work, and he looked up, my windshield was busted. They busted my windshield. Yeah.
I'm sorry you have to go through all this. I'm so sorry.
They
Do
get
y'all got any?
They get
Dangerous.
mechanics to damage my vehicles when I go to any mechanic.
What?
Yeah. Yes. They own people in every business.
Yeah, because they got peoples everywhere.
Every business. Glens
Yeah.
Falls Hospital up here, the nurse tried to kill me. I coded out twice. When I first moved up here, I fell down my friend's stairs. I fell down. I hurt my knees really bad. I'm pretty sure I fractured my knees. And I get mini strokes. Okay.
So sorry.
If I can back up a little bit, to 21 years ago on Long Island, I was driving down the road. There were kids playing. There was a park on Broadway Avenue. There were kids playing. There was a park. There were littler kids running all around. There were cars parked up and down the street. My kids were younger at the time. And this pickup truck with a big push bar on the front of it is tailgating me, wanting me to go faster and faster, and I'm not doing it.
Right.
You know, God forbid, a little kid runs out into the road in between these cars.
That's
and
right.
So the light turned red, and all of a sudden he backed off. And I was like, that's strange. All of a sudden he backed off. Now, Broadway Avenue, you can only make a left or a right, and the lanes are angled. So I'm in the right lane, wanting to turn right, and there's a car in the left lane. So I'm literally leaning on my steering wheel, looking to the left to see if I can make a right on red. And the truck intentionally slammed into the back of my car, which whipped my whole body back, broke my neck, stretched and twisted my brainstem. I had several tiny brain bleeds, broke my back in 2 places, ripped the discs in my spine.
Oh, Lord.
Indented my spinal cord, ripped open my stomach from my esophagus, ripped open. The hospital, I didn't know for 7 years that was a cop that hit me. He intentionally hit me. He was a cop. I didn't know it for 7 years. The hospital was lying to me. Doctors were lying to me because the cops asked them to. I found out 7 years later that it was a cop that hit me. It took me 7 years to sue his car insurance. All I got was $1,200. I died 5 times. And the cops got away with it. All right. Now,
I'm so
7
sorry.
years later, I move into this apartment in the 2-family house. The cop who first falsely arrested me was the same cop that crashed into the back of my car. The same cop. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Exactly. So I move up here. All right. I get a letter in the mail. The court accepts your guilty plea. And I'm like, yo, I'd never, ever once pleaded guilty. So I go down there. Judge White and his ugly secretary, who is a nasty bitch, and I called her a bitch. She didn't like it. Well, too bad. Freedom of speech, bitch. Yeah. And I'm recording, and I'm saying, I'm here to request the entire video of the hearing. If there was truly a recording of the hearing, because I believe it was a bogus hearing, nobody else was there. How are you having court session with no court officer, with no sign-in sheet, nothing? You know what I'm saying? And I say, and Judge White, why'd I get a letter from this court saying that the court accepted my guilty plea when I never once pled guilty? Judge White. And I kept repeating it. And
Yeah,
they know I'm recording. I didn't even tell them what my name was when I went into the court. The judge went to the file cabinet, pulled out my folder. He first said to me, do you have the letter with you? I said, no, but I can bring it back tomorrow. Attitude and all. I could bring it back tomorrow.
Hold on. Let me just ask Karen, what would you do in a situation like I don't know.
I'd move. I would go stay with my friend, my children, friend, or something.
I cannot stay with my children. It would put their lives in danger.
Wow.
I have nothing to do with my daughters. They're safer that way. On Long Island, I lived with me, my son, and my second oldest daughter. We got a beautiful house. How the hell did I move next to a fucking cop? cop lived right next door to me, who then started damaging my vehicle in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, they would bang on my granddaughter's window, on the outside of the house, not the window, the outside of the house. They'd be out there barking like a dog. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
They were pissing in my baby granddaughter's little pool. They were spitting in it. I would get up in the morning, go outside, check the
That
pool, and
sounds
find
like a cop.
clumps of spit. The final straw was they stabbed it. They stabbed my granddaughter's baby pool. The bottom of it, all the sides. I smoked cigarettes. I had a metal coffee can on my outside picnic table with cigarette butts in it. They took that can, put it outside of my bedroom window, and set it on fire.
Whoa.
On fire. Luckily, it went out. Luckily, it didn't catch the house on fire. All right? These are the cops.
Wow.
This is what cops get away with.
Yeah, you know what? We do talk about, corruption
My
on this
daughter had to move out
We,
because the cops in the middle of the night were banging on my granddaughter's on the outside of the house of her bedroom window and barking like dogs.
we do talk about corruption on this platform. So I'm glad that you came on here and told your story, because
Thank you for
that's
letting me.
something, yeah, that's something that we always talk about, because there's so much. It's a shame, like I say this, and I'm gonna say this all the time. We're supposed to feel safe. We're supposed to feel safe where these fucking cops are the criminals, though. They're the most thugs
Exactly.
there is.
They
You know
get
what I'm
away
saying? They get away with
sexual
any,
assault,
yes,
rape, murder,
yes,
beating
everything.
people.
They're
They've
supposed to be
caused me
protecting us.
lifetime permanent injuries. Now,
Right.
I didn't know for 7 years that the top of my esophagus ripped open from the top of my stomach and gave me cancer.
I'm so
Gave me
sorry
stomach
to hear
cancer,
that.
esophagus cancer. Then it spread to my breasts, my
Wow.
thyroid, my parathyroid. And last I heard, they said I had several tumors on my brain. I don't know if I do or not. I don't know if I believe the doctor. I don't even believe he was a doctor. I believe he was a cop. So I don't know about the brain, but I know I have the other. I do get severe headaches, and I am starting to forget. Like, I forget how to spell now. I'm forgetting how to spell small words. You know
What
what
you
I'm
say,
saying?
Karen? She was saying.
You're
What you
on
say, Mama?
Medicaid. I mean, you're on Medicare. You need to have that looked at, because I just had a brain tumor. You'll know
There's
you have
no doctor I can go to. Every doctor I go to, they allow the cops to impersonate the doctors. The hospital nurse, I coded out twice. She had the blood pressure cup up on my left arm, turned up so high, it was stopping the blood flow to my heart. I coded out twice, and every time I came back to, she was standing over me smiling. Now, the next morning when the shift changed, when the new nurse came on, I said, "Nurse, please turn that blood pressure cup down. I coded out twice last night." She looked at it. She went, "Oh my God." She ran over to it. "Why the nurse have that turned up like that?" I said, "Because the cops asked them to kill me. And they almost did. I coded twice." Okay.
What does your family have to say about this?
I have no family. I am not in contact with my 3 daughters because of cops. I have no contact with them.
What about you have you're in a well, I don't know if you're in a relationship or something.
The cops will not allow me to have any friends at all. They constantly pull over my friends. There was a man that I started seeing. Second time he left my home after visiting with me, he lives 45 minutes from me. It takes him 45 minutes to get from my house to his house. 15 minutes later, he's calling me on the phone. He says, "Josephine," he says, "the cops just pulled me over. A few feet down the street from your house." I said, "Why?" He said, 4 cops, 3 marked cop cars and 1 unmarked cop car pulled him over and told him, "Because one of your headlights is brighter than the other." Could you imagine? Which was ridiculous. It wasn't. And then the next time he came over and he left, got down the street, the same thing happened. And he called me again. And I said, "What did they say they pulled you over this time for?" They said the same thing. One of my headlights was brighter than the other. And he said, Josephine, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry. I really like you, but I don't want problems with the cops. There went that boyfriend. But he wasn't my boyfriend yet. Okay.
Right.
And then the next man that comes into my life, who was a mechanic, the one who first found all the lugs loosened up on my 2 front tires, pulling him over. That went out the window. My girlfriend, they were pulling her over. She said, Josephine, she goes, I'm sorry, you know. She considered me a family member, like an aunt, because I was older than her.
Right.
She goes, Joe, she goes, Joe, you know the problems you're having with the cops? I said, yeah. She goes, I can no longer be friends with you.
Oh, no.
So it's just me. They get my neighbors to harass me, to get my neighbors to damage my property. When I first moved in here, the girl in the back called the cops a false complaint, tried to have me falsely arrested, told the cops that I was taking pictures and videos inside of people's windows of other apartments, and I wasn't. And she knew I wasn't. She knew a month before she made that call that I wasn't, because the outside of the windows are all exposed, and the top of the roof was leaking. And when it rained, it poured in my window of my bedroom, down into the building, into the wall, all over my carpet. I had 2 buckets in there trying to catch most of the rain. And so when the cop came here, I showed him the videos. This is what I was video recording. I wasn't video recording in anybody's windows, as you can
Right.
see. I said
Right.
to the cop, I want her arrested. She knew about this a month ago. And you could see the date on the video. You can see the date on the video. Okay? It's dated in my phone. This is recorded a month ago. I want her arrested for for trying to have me falsely arrested and making false 911 calls, abusive 911. They wouldn't do nothing. I called the department, and still they wouldn't do nothing.
What about the FBI? Have you tried to call the FBI?
The FBI, I called the FBI on Long Island, told them how I was sexually assaulted, physically assaulted 7 times, falsely arrested. They laughed at me over the phone. They laughed and said, we don't like to hear that any of our guys did this. I said, well, I didn't like any of it being done to me. Oh, we'll check into it. I never heard back from them. Nobody helped me. Nobody. No matter who I called. I called the police chief. I called everybody. Nobody would help me. Not one lawyer will help me, not even up here.
Yeah, yeah, that's wow. I'm so sorry you got to go
For the
through this.
hearing, the judge refused to have. Excuse me.
Oh, get some water, girl. Get some water.
The judge refused to appoint me an attorney. Refused. We're having a hearing. I need an attorney. He refused.
Anyone
I
have
tried to
any
get legal aid to
advice?
help me. Legal aid kept, I was illegally evicted from one of my apartments, illegally, forced to be homeless up here. The New York State law, here's some information I can pass on. When you're a month-to-month tenant for a year or longer, your landlord has to give you a 3-month eviction notice. Not 1 month, 3 months when you're a month-to-month tenant. I lived in that apartment for 3 years. Also, process servers are not allowed to serve you past 5 p.m. I was served at 6:45 at night. The whole entire thing should have been dismissed, but it wasn't. The judge illegally evicted me.
Do anybody got any advice for her before we go?
I need a lawyer. I need somebody to help. They're
Do
going to kill me.
anybody?
The judge put me on a year's probation and said to me, 1 more ticket and I'm going to lock you up. I said, Judge, you're setting me up to be falsely imprisoned. He said, I can do whatever I want to you.
Do anybody got any advice for her? Barbara, you got any other advice?
I'd appreciate some kind of advice.
I mean, I don't know what to
This
say.
is living hell.
I've dealt with a woman like I said, where I was trying to help her with one of her cases, and like they tapped her phone, they did her emails.
Yeah.
I kept having to tell her, get another phone, and I had another person helping me with the case.
I don't
And
have
once
money to keep buying
was
phones
bad.
that they're only going to tap. They're going to tap them
Yeah,
anyway.
it was bad. It was bad.
The only
They
thing
follow
I
me
can
everywhere.
say is, only thing I can suggest is do a GoFundMe. Do you have Facebook?
Yeah, I don't know how to do stuff like that. I don't know how to do anything like that.
We could help you behind the scene.
Yeah, and
we could definitely help you.
maybe try to reach out to a social service.
Social services. The cops own people in social services. Like I said, even in Social Security, they
need an
reduced my
activist.
Social Security income to $1,001.
You need an activist.
I don't
Do
know
you know
who
one?
that would be.
I'll look into it.
I need some kind of help.
Yeah, I'll definitely
I
look
really
into
do.
it. Activists, so in this case, I don't know. I know
You don't have the
activists.
money for an attorney, so have you? There ought to be some legal aid assistance.
Legal aid refuses to help me. Legal aid told me when I was illegally being evicted that, oh, we don't represent anybody in eviction court. I knew it was a lie. They multiple times refused.
I'm looking.
Barbara, do you have any advice for her?
But yesterday, I went to the bank with my
Let me see
landlord. My
something.
landlord stopped
Hold
over
on.
yesterday.
Wait, hold on. Let me see something. Karen, ask Barbara if she has any advice for her. I want to just see something for a minute. No, ask her out loud on here.
Barbara, if you can hear me, do you have any advice, or you knew anybody have any advice? I'm trying to see what I can find.
Yesterday, I went to the bank. My landlord followed me to the bank. I give him my rent money. I find that more money was taken from my Social Security. More money is taken out of my Social Security income. Okay.
After your check has already been low, then more money. Is that what you're saying, or
it wasn't? The first bank teller says to me, first thing I asked them is, how much money is in my account? She writes it down, gives me the paper, $1,035. And I'm like, what? Again? I said, no. Then the guy who I feel is the cops own, okay, he comes to the window. And I said, the other lady's helping me. He goes, well, I'll help you now. I said, I need to know how much is in my account. He comes back and he says nothing. I said, what?
Oh, shit.
What do you mean nothing? He said, nothing's
What?
been deposited into your account. I said, the other woman just gave me a paper, told me I have $1,035 in there. It was $1,035. And I've also had them taking money out of my account. Money disappearing out of my account.
Then you need to go change your bank account.
All of my bank statements are falsified going back 3 years.
You need to go take your money out of that account and put it in a new account.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. The cops own people in Social Security. Now, I went down to see if I could collect on my ex-husband's Social Security because he passed away. Okay. The guy comes and says to me, oh, you can't collect on your dead husband's Social Security because you told us.
Yes, you can. If you were
Yes,
married
you
to him
can.
over 10 years.
This is what he says to me. You told us that you weren't married to him that long. And I looked at him. I said, don't put words in my mouth. I never said that. I said, I was married in 1977. My my daughter was born in 79. I didn't get legally divorced till my daughter was 11 years old. I was married longer than 10 years to him. He said, no, we can't help you. Cops
As long
own people in every business out here.
as you have a marriage certificate and a divorce
Yes.
certificate, they
Yes.
cannot go against it.
But they can do whatever they want
That's
to do.
federal.
Like I said, I can't get any lawyers to help me. I can't get anyone to help me. This has been going on actually 21 years from the first time the cop crashed into the back of my car and got away with it. All I got was $1,200. The law firm was in on it. The law firm kept telling me, oh, you don't have the injuries that you say you have. You have my medical records. Yes, I do. I had a court-ordered deposition where the lawyer says to me, let me finish this. The lawyer says to me, the man who was driving the truck that hit you is going to be in the conference room. You're not allowed to speak to him, ask him his name or anything. I walk into the conference room, I'm looking around, and I'm like, can I talk to you out in the hallway for a minute? I say to my lawyer. She goes, let's go to my office. I go to her office. I say, where's the man that was driving the truck that hit me? Oh, that's him sitting right there. I said, no, it's not. Now, only 3 years had gone by the time this court-ordered deposition. Oh, you just don't recognize him. It's been 3 years. I said, let me tell you something. That's not the man. The man who hit me was a much younger man. I said, did you get out of my car and slowly walk and curse him out? Because I did. I did. With a broken back, a broken neck, and all my injuries. I slowly, working in the nursing field, I know how to turn myself. I know to stand and stay still. I told my 2 kids, if I fall in the street, don't get out of this vehicle, because I don't want them getting hit by no car, you know.
Right.
I walked over. I cursed the guy out. He was a young guy. His insurance company told me I was the 4th person he rear-ended in 2 months. And I said, why has he still got a license? I didn't know he was a cop till 7 years later. I found out he was a cop.
Oh, that's what you were saying before, yeah.
They
But
punched
Karen,
me between my legs a total of 9 times. They broke my
Josephine, we need
urinary
to-
tract line.
because
I have a permanent lump there. I was bleeding. I didn't have my period. I was bleeding. And I go to a gynecologist that my girlfriend was seeing on Long Island. The gynecologist intentionally hurts me. And then when he was done with his examination, he tells me, wait outside my office. He kept the door open and he calls the cops and he's laughing and he's describing my private area.
I think Karen has some advice for you, so let her say what she got to say, please.
Okay.
Go ahead, Karen.
This is what I would do. This is what I would do, honey. And this is just my advice. But I would go to Social Security in your town, sit and talk to them, find out what it is. You want a paper copy of all the years that you worked, because they have to show you. You get, for years, you know what you're going to draw in the event you retire and everything. Right, Jasmine?
I didn't retire. I was
Yes,
disabled. I was
Okay, but
disabled.
still,
Social
you'll
Security
still
on
go.
Long Island. Wait, Social Security on Long Island after the car accident told me I'm not entitled to SSD because I'm 1 point short. I said, excuse me, I'm not 1 point short. I've been working and paying taxes since I'm 17 years old. But like I said, cops own people in every business out there. So I got SSI.
Hey, Barbara.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I'm on SSI too.
Hey, Barbara.
And it's not. Hi, Karen. Nice to meet you. I've been watching you in the last few days.
It's nice
The
to
advice
meet you.
I have
What thank
is
you. It's nice meeting you.
I would get in my car, pack my stuff. I'd leave state if I had to live in my car for a while to get into a different place. I would get the hell out of there, especially if you feel for your life, because
I
it
fear for
sounds
my
like
life.
you keep staying there, you're going to end up dead anyway. So what do
Yep.
you got to lose to pack your car up and leave state?
The long arm of criminal cops corruption is a phone call away. Criminal cops are in every state, in every police department, in every town.
I understand that, but if you leave state and don't let anybody know where you're at, and
I
don't
have to let Social Security know. I have to let Social Security know where I'm moving to get my checks. I have to tell them. Cops own people in Social Security
Okay,
building.
then
That's
Josephine,
proven to me.
tell us. Then Josephine, tell us what you think the answer is, because Social Security is federal.
And state.
I just want to know
Federal
what you
and
think
state.
it is that we can do to help you.
I don't know.
Well, Social Security is federal because you can take it anywhere. It's not just in
I
your
have
state.
federal and state.
So
I get it from the federal. I have SSI, Social Security insurance. I get a check from the state and I get a check from the federal.
And I'm on SSI.
okay, so y'all, it's different for y'all. Well, I get SSDI because I had a brain tumor, and I know I go back and look at my sheet, and it told me exactly what I would draw. Because for every year when you work, it adds up.
Exactly.
And so all I'm saying is I would go sit down with SSI. I would go in there and I would tell them I want a paper copy of what I'm supposed to draw. And then I would transfer my money to a different bank account. They cannot touch federal money.
But they do. And they are.
People can't even sue you and take money.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
But they're taking money from my account.
Jasmine, do you know that as well, Barbara?
Yes,
didn't
they
know.
cannot do that.
I didn't know.
I didn't even get the increase. I never received the increase that we were all supposed to get.
I've had my neck broke twice. I'm on disability for that, and I
Okay.
have chronic shingles. They cannot touch your money. I don't know how they are. And
Cops
another
own them.
thing, as far as your phone is concerned, go get a phone, put it in somebody else's name, and don't call none of them people on that phone. Use your old phone. Then they don't know your phone number to hack into your phone.
And
I don't know if you
Social
understand.
Security?
I don't have money to go buy another phone. Okay. I'm only getting $1,001. My rent is $700. I have to pay electric. I have to pay my car insurance every month, and I have to pay my cable to keep my TV on. The only place I go is from here to the supermarket and back.
Well, I only have $946 coming in a month, and I pay $500 in lot rent. It's not easy, but you can get free government phones.
Yeah, you can get the what's that phone?
If you're on disability, you can get a free government phone.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because I used to get one.
And when you get that phone, just don't use that phone when you're making phone calls to these people. Only use that phone.
Yes, you can.
As soon as I get that phone in my name from the government, the cops are going to tap it.
I have one sitting right here, and they don't even know the phone number. Nobody does.
To understand,
Sweetie, advice to you is go to
the
Social
cops
Security
own people
and sit
in
down.
every government office out there.
Well, I'm trying to help you, ma'am. I'm giving you every advice that I can tell you, and I'm telling you that you can get a phone for free, and they don't know it's your phone. I have one sitting right here at my house.
I can do that, and I'll bet you they'll know.
The only way they're going to know is if you tell somebody.
I don't have to tell anybody. They follow me everywhere I go. They
the only
followed
problem
me
is we
yesterday.
don't know how to help you.
They followed me yesterday to the bank.
We just don't know how to help you.
Let me say something. The reason Barbara is saying this to you and giving you this advice because she has and still experience corruption.
My son was murdered.
Exactly. Her son was
very
murdered.
sorry.
So she knows exactly.
Oh, Barbara, I'm so sorry to hear that, honey.
Timmy D's, yes. That's Timmy
My
D's
brother
mother.
was murdered. Oh,
I'm very
okay.
sorry. Very sorry to hear that.
She's Timmy D's mother.
My heart goes out to you.
So when
Barbara,
it
I am
comes
so
to
sorry.
certain things, Barbara knows what she's talking about. That's why she's telling you this.
Put cameras in your car. They're cheap. You can get.
I have a dash cam. I now have a dash cam. I had to buy a dash cam because one more bogus ticket and the judge is going to lock me up. He said one more ticket of any kind for anything, I'm locking you up. I said,
Well,
Judge, you can't do that. He said, I can do whatever I want. I said, Judge, I have a clean driving record.
They messing with you hard.
well, I just know that if it was me, Social Security or not, I'd pack my car up. I'd be gone. I'd live in my car in a shelter or something in a different state. I don't suggest coming to Missouri because there's some areas here that aren't good. But that's what
Yeah,
I
get
do.
safe homes.
Yeah, I mean, or if you feel fearing for your life, it's either that or
They have
death.
GPS on my vehicle. They
Yo, you
follow
need to.
me everywhere I go.
Well, then you need to not need to, but I suggest you call safe homes.
Do you have any
And
phone numbers?
I could,
Safe
but we
homes?
would do that off of here because people be.
What's
You do think the cops
it?
watching behind you, honey? They're
Yeah.
watching on the internet too. So
Oh, yeah, I know it. And they're on my phone,
Well,
so they'll know.
yeah, so
They'll
we'll
know.
definitely help you off of this. Get you the number off of here. I'll definitely give you the number.
Yeah, you need to get out of there.
Yeah,
I
for
don't know.
sure.
I mean, is that
Yeah,
Social
you need to get
Security
out of
worth your?
there.
Is that Social Security worth your life?
I need some kind of money to live on.
Well,
How
you
am I
can
going
get
to
out.
live? I
You go.
can't work. I
You
have
go to it.
cancer in 6 places of my body. I cannot work.
So you go to
Listen to
another
me.
state. I'm trying to tell you to go to another state, and if you got cancer and all that, they're going to give you disability quick.
It sounds good.
Well, it's either that or you.
Cops own people in the Social Security buildings. They do.
I'm sorry, I can't
They're
help you.
affecting me right now. Just like they did on Long Island.
I
Well,
just don't know what to
They
do to
don't in
help you
every
because
state.
This is
that's
a
right. You
nightmare.
could move to another
Yeah.
state or
I
Well,
mean,
she's
you
saying
can
she
go
just
to
can't get
another
up and
state.
move because she don't got,
they
finances.
cannot touch your.
But they do. You say they cannot touch my Social
Run a
Security, but they are.
GoFundMe to help.
It's a fact. They falsified my bank statements going back 3 years. Yeah. Falsified my bank statements going back 3
Then go
years.
take it to Social Security and show them proof.
You mean Social Security that's messing with my checks and lying about it?
Go to another state, get on Social Security. They don't own somebody in every Social Security office in different states.
Oh, yes, they do.
No, they
Oh,
don't.
yes, they do.
Well, then why aren't they doing it to me?
I don't know.
Or me. They're not touching my money.
I don't know.
They don't own everybody in every Social Security
Not
office in
everybody.
every state.
Not everybody.
That's
But
why
they
you go to
own
another
people in every
state.
state.
That's why you go to
Your
another state.
daughters won't help you?
I don't have any contact with my daughters. Or my grandchildren don't even know me anymore. They don't even know who I am.
Because she's afraid that they'll mess with her kids again.
They already have.
They started
My
messing with her kids
when-
in the beginning.
When I lived
wouldn't
in
let nobody stop me from seeing my children.
When I lived in Mastic Beach on Long Island with my daughter and my son and my little baby granddaughter, all right, I begged my daughter not to get my granddaughter vaccinated. Don't get a don't do it, don't do it. Well, she went and did it. My granddaughter broke out in a rash all over her entire body. Now, I worked in the medical field 30 years, and I ain't never seen a rash like that on any baby or any human in my life, okay? After the rash went away, my daughter was at work, and my granddaughter's fever started spiking, 103, 106, 109. I'm calling my daughter, get home from work, leave work right now. She leaves work, and I say to her, do not take her to Brookhaven Hospital. Don't take her there. But my daughter took my granddaughter there. All they did for my granddaughter was give her some baby Tylenol and sent my granddaughter home with 104 fever. That's unheard of. A hospital sending a baby home with 104 fever. You
Well,
understand
ma'am,
what I'm saying? While my family's life is in danger?
we're trying to give you advice here, but you don't seem to think and you can trust anybody anywhere. And so I don't even know
Can't.
what to say.
I've
Because I
I've
don't believe
I
every
have the
Social
Department
Security
of
document.
Aging helping me up here. They're supposed to be helping me. You know, I applied for the government phone. Didn't hear nothing
Oh,
back
you did
about it.
apply for the government phone?
Yes, I didn't hear nothing back. Nothing at all. Nothing.
It's called SafeLink, the government phone.
Yeah, you get on the website, you
They
fill
have
out
a
all the things on the website, and then they send you a phone. I
they have
just got
Yeah.
one.
too.
If I go on the website through my laptop, the cops are embedded into my laptop. They're in my laptop. Everything I do is copied. It flashes. It's ridiculous. But I asked the woman at the Department of Aging to help me, you know, and I've heard nothing about getting my phone.
The Department of what?
The Department of Aging. I'm
What's that?
65. They help
Oh,
people
okay.
my age.
Because of your age, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Department of Justice?
No.
I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'll
Thank
try
you.
to help get some phone numbers. Can you send me a Facebook Messenger request so I can give it to you through there? Look for me on Facebook. Send me a Facebook so I know it's you.
Hang on one second.
Because I'm about to end the live because we was on here for a while. So we've
Yeah,
been
you've
on
been
here
on.
since 7
Yeah.
o'clock.
Spell me your name, please.
Brooklyn Squad. That's you can go on the business account.
Please spell squad for me. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. SQUAD.
Okay, I'll send you a message in Messenger.
Look for Brooklyn Squad True Crimes.
Oh,
let me go
okay.
on that account because my other account. Why am I on freaking YouTube? I'm bugging.
Okay.
I'm getting sleep.
If you want, please friend request me on Facebook if you feel safe enough to do that.
Of course.
You know, I have two Facebook pages.
Send me a thing. I see you. Oh no, I see that you liked my thing, but
I
I
have
can
my
easily go to your
Damone page, and my Josephine page.
Okay. Oh no.
I'm going to repost the video I took when I confronted Judge White about sending me the letter stating the court accepts your guilty plea when I never pled guilty. I'm also gonna put the 3 videos of State Trooper John DeCristofaro. I think his first name is John. I'm not positive. I'm gonna post I'm gonna post those videos again from my phone onto Facebook. You'll also see the post that I wrote to, which I have on here, to ex-cop John Gallagher of West Sayville on Long Island.
I'm trying
Some
to
of the
find
things what he done to me. And
Where
my
is
son.
it that you live in upstate New York?
Yeah, I'm in Washington County, upstate New York.
Washington County. We're gonna try and find some resources for you.
Yeah. That.
I appreciate any help you could give me.
Matter of fact, let me go
I wish these lawyers weren't afraid of the cops. Constitutional lawyers I've called, nobody will call me back, nobody will help me. None of them. Yesterday, I went to the bank. A rusted out pickup truck followed me. Okay. Pulled in the spot next to me. Gave my landlord the rent money. Put my seatbelt on. I put my car in reverse. The guy in the white pickup truck next to me puts his car in reverse. He pulled in next to me and never got out of the vehicle, of the truck. Okay. So I see him. I'm like, I've seen this truck before. It's followed me many times. I put my car back in park. He puts his truck back in park. I was like, oh, the hell with this. I'm just going to leave. I leave. I go to McPee's smoke shop to buy a pack of cigarettes. All right. Next thing I see, man walks in, the same man that was driving the white pickup truck. I leave the store. I take a picture of the license plate of the back of the white rusted out pickup truck. Follow me everywhere. They have GPS on my vehicle.
What's your other trying to see. What is the last name of yours? Josephine what?
Pisculli.
Can you spell that?
Pisculli.
Okay. Trying to find y'all. You said PIS?
Pisculli.
Okay, I was right. Okay.
Even the TV cable company is allowing the cops to impersonate cable workers. The mailman has been stealing my mail. When I lived at 301 Main Street in Hudson Falls up here, when I lived there, I wasn't receiving my mail. I see the mailman come by. I go down the stairs. I say, excuse me, sir. For some reason, I'm not receiving any of my mail. He says, well, did you put in a change of address? I said, for what? He said, so you can now receive your mail. I said, I've lived here for 3 years. What are you talking about? He said, a woman who pulls up in front of your house to pick up her children off the bus told me you no longer lived here. I said, you must be mistaken. She used to live downstairs in the downstairs apartment, broke up with her boyfriend. She moved out. He said, no, she came up to me a second time and told me and insisted that I stop delivering your mail here. So I stopped delivering your mail. I said, what? I said, all right, look, I don't want to get you in trouble, but please just start delivering my mail. 3 weeks go by. I don't get any mail. I see the mailman again. I go down. I said, excuse me, sir. He was up on the front porch. I said, for some reason, I'm still not getting my mail. He turned around, very vicious and angrily, started stomping at me, toward me, cursing me out. I'm delivering your fucking mail. I'm going to make sure you don't get your fucking mail. So
I just sent you a friend request.
Okay. So I went upstairs. I called the post office in Glens Falls. Asked to speak to the supervisor, Supervisor Susan. I say, Supervisor Susan, the mail carrier just cursed me out and threatened me, and he's been withholding my mail. She goes, oh, I don't have any time for this, and she hangs up on me. I call her back. She answers the phone. She hears my voice. She says, didn't I just tell you that I don't have time for this? And she hangs up again. I get in my van. I had my van at the time. I drive to the post office. I need to speak to Supervisor Susan. The guy behind the counter says, oh, you don't want to speak to her. I said, oh, yes, I do. She just hung up on me twice. And I told him what was going on. I called the commissioner of the post office. I called everybody for years, no matter where I moved up here. He's stealing and withholding my mail. And if he delivered it to me, it was all torn up, ripped
That's
up.
definitely big trouble right there. That's a federal
He got away
thing.
with it.
Wow.
The last apartment, second to the last apartment I moved into, he put a lit cigarette in the mailbox and then put my mail on top of it. It's attached to the house.
What?
Other people live in this building.
You better get. All right, we're gonna have to get you some phone numbers, organizations, or something. Somebody gonna have to give you some good advice. Somebody gonna have to intervene and help you because this is crazy.
I
But
need a lawyer.
I'm gonna shut down the live right now because we've been on since 7 o'clock.
Oh my goodness. Thank
Yeah,
you so
girl.
much.
We was on since 7, but I'm grateful that you came on and shared your story and just let us know how fucked up and corrupt the police and the whole, not
Yes.
even our police, but the whole entire
System.
is they
The
connected all
judges, the
together.
lawyers, all of them, the
They
district
all connected
attorneys, the
together.
district attorneys, all of them.
Yes. We've been saying that for a minute on here though.
It all
But
starts with the
you
criminal
just
cop.
even put it on you put the top how you say that? You put the topping on the cake or whatever. Like you just
The
really
icing on the cake, the
icing on the cake even
frosting on the
more.
cake.
Yes, you put it even
Yeah.
more. Because I've
Yeah.
been saying this motherfuckers is corrupt altogether, but you really, really let us know how corrupt it really
The
is.
entire system needs the criminal cops to keep breaking the law against innocent citizens to keep their jobs. We wouldn't have all these courts. We wouldn't have all these
Yes.
judges and lawyers if it wasn't for the criminal cops.
Crazy. But I want to say thank you for coming on anytime.
Jasmine, I gotta go. I'm
Stop
gonna
by.
make a run.
I'm about to close it off. Yeah. I'm about to close
No,
down,
you're
Thank
Mama.
you all so much for
Yeah,
okay. I gotta
thank
go.
you.
I gotta be somewhere in 10 minutes, honey.
Yes, thank you for everybody for
Honey,
joining
we wish you
Brooklyn
the best of
Real
luck.
Life
We'll be in
Drama.
touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Relentless for
everyone.
Answers. Once again for joining
You're
on the
welcome, honey.
platform. I
Give
appreciate
me
it. Please, everybody, keep
Yes,
putting
ma'am.
your prayers. And if you got
We
any
will.
suggestions or anything, let me know and I'll tell her. Or I'm sure she's going to be back again because I'm live every day. If you are subscribed to my platform, keep your notifications on because I will be going live again tomorrow.
I have the notifications on.
Keep it on, baby, because I got some stories tomorrow. I will
All
see
right,
you
honey.
then.
Okay.
Bye,
And
y'all. I
accept
gotta
my
go.
friend request. Till then,
Be safe out there.
yes, please be safe, Mama.
Bye for
Okay.
now. Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate y'all so much for just showing love to her, being patient to her, and y'all the best. I can't, I don't know, like some people complain about their subs in the audience when I be on my little celebrity gossip thing at nighttime after I wind down off the crime stuff and I eat my little food and I'm watching my celebrity, Amon Wiggins or something like that. Even other people, they complain about their subscribers and stuff. Not me. I got the best. Y'all the best, best, best. And I appreciate y'all and I adore y'all so, so much. Can't do this without you. Please go and subscribe and check out your news channel. It was amazing today. I really, really enjoyed sitting in there today. It was great. Check out Kathy B. She does garden and stuff. And she got some other stuff with her little crew and stuff. Please check out Relentless for Answers. We got more bigger things coming out for y'all. And check out Barbara Hall has a Facebook page with Timmy D. She has not gotten no answers yet. Go check her page out for her son. There's so much many more cases, so much many more parents that will be coming on this platform telling you about their stories. I will see y'all then tomorrow. Until then, be safe, be blessed, stay warm tonight because it's cold.